Discretion is advised.
Happy Monday, you're listening and or watching PWNCAST. This is episode 181. I guess it's not really Monday since by the time you guys watch this, it's technically Tuesday, so I should say happy Tuesday, but I don't because it's weird because it's Monday. Like I said, we are on episode 181. This is patch 7.3. Tonight we're going to be talking about this week's happenings all around Azeroth and now Argus, of course. I've got the QA highlights coming up. The closing ban was announced. We're going to talk about some various different reactions from the interwebs regarding that. We have that and much, much more, so make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Bell, the PWNCAST Vanguard. Snap back and get faster for the pet battle Grandmaster, Gemma Banks. He's sharp as a dagger with that dapper swagger, Secret Sauce. With holy might as strong as his ancient knowledge, Remedies, the Argent Loremaster. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are PWNCAST.
There was a little delay in me bringing this back up because I wasn't really sure what's going on Rem's camera there. But welcome back, guys. You guys are unmuted. What was going on that entire time? I seen a syringe and a sword and Gemma saying no. I don't know.
He asked to see my sword, so...
Wow, so you just show your sword to anyone then, yeah?
Yeah.
You're going to show it to the people? The syringe and the sword were all in Remedy's box, so Jim wasn't... Whoa, I see what you did there.
Yeah, you made it super weird now, guys.
No, you did.
They made it really, really weird.
It's pretty good.
I find it funny when men, like... It's like watching men in their natural habitat, where they, like, get together and they trade war stories and show each other their big weapons and...
Their scars.
Talk about beer and butts. Like, men are just super weird in their natural habitat.
Beer and butts.
Meanwhile, women's natural habitat is just to gather, eat tacos, and drink wine. Like, that's, and bitch about our husbands. Like, that's just kind of what we do.
But that's not accurate because you're not a girl.
I really am not. I'm not. I am a. I don't really have a gender identity.
A hybrid class.
Yeah, I would prefer to not identify myself with a specific
Well,
gender.
I identify as an Apache helicopter.
Yeah, I sexually identify with a toaster, so there's that. But with that being said, guys, I'm really happy to have you guys here. I got to sleep in because it's fall break for my children, so I am a little less tired than normal, although my brain is a little mush. But I'm happy you guys are here.
I'm happy you're arrested or feel good.
Arrested? I haven't been arrested for quite a few many years.
Yeah, no, arrested isn't
It's
a
in
good
development.
Oh, that was bad.
Arrested development.
Your Rem is rubbing off on you. It's an embarrassment to say the least. So I did bring the Writers of Rohan with me. I did bring the monk who is kind enough to celebrate his Thanksgiving with us assholes. Gemma Banks, thank you for being here.
I celebrated with him a little bit ago, yeah.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. All my Canadian listeners, and for the confused people that live outside of the USA and Canada, our Thanksgiving is first in October, and yours is the 25th of November, right?
Whenever Thursday is.
Whatever the Thursday it falls on. Here's the thing about that, though. I wish, like, I want to know if I could adopt, like, some of your Canadian things, specifically the Thanksgiving. I would love to have 2 Thanksgivings because turkey is my favorite.
What about Family
I
Day?
love turkey. Mm-hmm.
I don't like my family, so I don't know that Family Day would be appropriate. Well, my immediate family I like, but, like, the rest of them.
Maybe you can celebrate it differently where you just take off on your family for a day. So it's like Family Day is like...
I go to like the bar for happy hour during Family Day. That sounds good to me. I did also bring the priest who apparently has to cope with alcohol, large amounts of alcohol to be able to deal with Gemma Banks. I don't know Rem, I feel like that's not a healthy friendship. That seems a little toxic.
No, it's totally healthy. I like drinking. I like having Jimmy Banks around, so it works out.
He was saying it in frustration earlier, though. But
No, it's more of a joke. But yeah, no, it's.
Well,
By the way, the Yankees suck.
The Yankees won.
you're
my
my friend, so you would probably drink more being my friend than you do being Jimma's. If I had to
Absolutely,
guess. Yeah.
I would too. But we're gonna get to cheers it up real soon, right, guys? Less than a month.
I know. I'm preparing the internal organs
Crazy.
for the. Last week I outdrank Ella, which was nice.
The girls went out for a girls' night.
Well, she kept saying,
Then
well, before this, I had
like
2
a quarter
glasses of
or
wine, and
five.
I'm like, really? I pissed 2 glasses of wine. Like, that's absolutely nothing in the alcohol grand scheme of things, but it was pretty good. She was pretty wasted.
Well, I mean, it depends on what glasses of wine. If it's a Moscato, then it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like not real wine. Like, you need the real wine for it to
Moscato? Is that a brand or a
be.
cup?
Moscato, it's really good.
Moscato.
It's a really good.
It's a type.
But yeah, we are so ready. We're less than 3 weeks out. I
Right.
am so excited and terrified. It's that time every year where I think it's never going to get here, and I just want it to be BlizzCon time. And then always about the same time, three or 2 weeks before, I go into full on panic mode, like complete panic. Saturday, I woke up and I scrubbed everything, and my husband's like, "What are you doing?" Well, because I have stuff I have to do to prep for BlizzCon, so I want to get the housework out of the way so that I can do the rest of my planning and get all that done because. I took on a lot this year.
Yeah,
In terms of responsibility. No, it's not just DitchCon. I'm helping direct World of Podcast segment for Calm Before the Storm, and that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And I'm helping Dari with some method stuff at BlizzCon. I overextended, but it's not a bad thing. Like, I'm really excited because I like being super busy. So the way I figure it is we've got 2 days of obligation. 2 days of obligation minus whatever method stuff I have to do with Dari, and the rest of the time is just eating ice cream, drinking, and tacos. Like, really, you can't.
Jimmy Banks, by the way, those 2 days don't apply to us. So
Correct. It's a lot easier. Like, I let her know. Like,
well,
I'm
they
here
do
for
because you guys are helping for both things those 2 days. So
I don't.
yeah, you're both helping.
this. I've been lifting for this whole year to.
Yeah, I mean, we've got heavy. I've already been ditched by 2 people that were supposed to help with DitchCon. So yeah.
And I think we all know the amount of planning that Jim's put into this. So for Jim to help out and lift some things, it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do. It's gonna be good. I'm really excited, and I'm not wearing a dress this year, so I get to be super comfortable. And we've worked out some of the technical issues I think with the stream this year to make it better. So I'm really hoping for us to
Also,
just put on
don't
something
wear
solid.
brand new Chucks. Yeah.
Right.
Don't want your toes looking that. For what it's worth, too, the one thing is I was kind of impressed. Well, 2 things. The first thing was like when you needed the dance floor widened and you were just talking to the lady. I'm like, oh, that's pretty like right before the party, and they had it done. So Belle gets it done, and then also you just being the hostess as far as like getting people engaged. I thought you did very well with that. You know what I mean? So.
The second half of the night, I was a little too engaged.
Oh,
if you get what I'm
correct,
saying.
but
this
people
year,
enjoyed themselves.
This year, I'm going to focus with just being on the dance floor and just mingling with people and just kind of just enjoying the experience. And I plan on being on the mic maybe a total of 3 or 4 times, beginning, end, and then in the middle for the giveaway.
Yeah,
stuff.
Rem knows. We'll see.
Well, it's just for the giveaway stuff, and then like the intro, welcoming everybody after 30 or 40 minutes when it begins, and then the end, thanking everybody, making sure I thank the sponsor, or not sponsors, but the people that donated the swag and stuff like that. So very minimal. And I had nothing to do with the playlist this year. This was all Grains, which is Christian, who's our DJ, although I've asked him to send me some samples of things that he plans on doing just because
Did he do that?
He did, and I approve. So
No, yeah, he knows how to keep it live.
the music will be less club hits and more dance hits. So less trendy, it's your birthday type of shit, and more not techno, but more on the proper dancing side of things.
We had celebrities show up to our DitchCon too
We
as well.
did.
Deadmau was there.
Who?
Deadmau, the DJ with the electrical mouse hat. I don't know
Wait,
if the mouse.
what?
Deadmau was there. I saw the electrical mouse
Dead
hat.
mouse?
Dead mouse?
I don't know.
Is that what it
Dead
is?
Mao?
There was a guy with the helmet on.
We had
He
lots
a
of
glowing head.
lots of Blizzard fame that popped in that a lot of people didn't even notice because it was so dark. We had a lot of high up Blizzard people that attended actually.
Well,
They kind of mingled in. I tried to not call people out, so that was I'm
well,
sure
I mean,
that was nice of them.
that's what the whole party was about, though. We didn't have a VIP
Yep,
section.
I wanted everybody to be created
You
equal.
were all about inclusion.
Well, free's really cool. Like for you to the trip itself costs, right? So for you to be able to maybe even not know about the party and just be in the area and be like, oh, there's a party and go for free. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this year we'll have signage and right when you walk in the Hilton, so other people that don't know that it's an open room, because one of the things that I heard last year is that people talked about they didn't know if they could go into that room.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just make it as open as possible and just see how, I mean, with the stuff that we're giving away for EVGA, like we're giving away motherboards, guys. That shit ain't cheap.
Ooh.
And they're the expensive EVGA motherboards. So I'm
Beam me up,
really
Scotty.
happy with the things that we're, what we're putting on this year. But yeah, we didn't want it to be anything VIP. And unfortunately, there have been influencers in that regard who opted not to come because they couldn't have a separate party area because they don't, whatever. And I'm not going to call anybody's names out on that because that just is what it is. But and I just, politely said, if that's what you're looking for, this is not the party for you, because this is the party where we're all created equal. So you're going to get in there and dance and mingle with everybody else, or you find something else to do, and you don't need to feel obligated to attend because you know me, like it's cool.
Yeah.
So, and that just is what it is. There's a lot of people who that's just not their thing.
I'm just gonna roll back right quick. So you saw a dead mouse there, though, Jim?
It was just a guy with it. It wasn't really him. It was a guy, and I wanted to ask him.
okay.
Can
I
I get?
love how Rem is just.
I know he really bought in, eh?
No, because
Focused.
he's into gaming and all that, so I figured he would be there. But
I want to make a 2017 montage.
We had Malkery in a horse head. So that's
The horse head
really,
was
that was
funny.
good for me, honestly. So I wanted to get you guys excited about that. Those of you that listen and watch, pay attention to the Twitch, the PWNCAST channel on Twitch, because we are going to live stream, and it will be a lot better this year. I have a direct connection for the laptop, so it's not going to be choppy. I still haven't
and something
purchased.
better for the audio, yeah.
Yeah, and he's going to mix the audio directly through his board that goes through the stream. So instead of
Good.
hearing the
Oh, that's
audio
neat.
from the speakers, you're going to hear the audio through the soundboard coming through. I don't know all that timey-wimey shit. That's all going to be DJ Brains.
That makes perfect sense.
He asked for a converter to like whatever he's got to do to the laptop to plug that in, so it'll be better so you actually hear the music, and then better on the mic, you don't hear like the awful. And then I still have to buy it. I've been waiting to buy it because it's expensive and I don't want to pay for it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway this week when I buy the glow sticks. I'm getting a cam link so that I can use the camera we have as a direct link versus using the webcam. So it's the actual better camera for that. So yeah, where we had to learn. It was a learning experience. We'd never done anything like that before.
You bought that camera and we didn't really use it, did we?
No, and it's getting a lot of use this year because I ordered 2 little mini lapel mics that hook up to it so that we could, if I needed to do on the spot interviews, and then I can use those lapel mics on my phone. I'm going to try to see if I can get some famous people to do.
Well, because you're not
podcast
shy.
bumpers.
Like,
No,
you'll-
and I'm not
you'll-
embarrassed at all. I'll be walking and be like,
Exactly.
hi. I'll stick the mic right in
Yeah,
your face and be
you're
like,
right.
hi. But I want to see if I can get some Blizzard fame to do some bumpers for PWNCAST. You know how you hear the radio bumpers where they're like, I only listen to blah, blah, blah,
Right,
104.7 up. Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can get that this
Well,
year.
and
so.
people would rather.
1043, 1047 sucks.
I'm gonna
Right.
I'm gonna see if I can get how many of those things I could get. So that's on my list, guys. We're getting hyped. We derailed a little bit with jumping right into the news, but I feel like it's important that we get everybody kind of appropriately hyped up. With that being said, I want to talk about what's going to happen the week of BlizzCon. So the actual week of BlizzCon, we're going to have a normal show on Monday, just like always. The following week, however, we're going to transition out of the Monday show, I think. This is still pending my thought process about it because, I overanalyze everything. I am going to think about, by the time BlizzCon, or the show before BlizzCon, I'll have an actual thing, but I want you guys to prepare yourselves that it is highly likely that Monday, or probably the Monday returning from BlizzCon, which I think is the 6th, we're probably not going to have a show. We'll probably just start right then with the Thursday show. Not 100% on that.
Oh, you're
is subject
100%.
to
That's my recoup day. I'm down.
it's hard for me to not do it. So the problem with changing the show day is there's some suffering with days there. So I don't like to do that, but I want to change the show day moving forward, because I think it's important that you guys get the information before reset. That's really what I want, so that you guys that some of you, I probably not many, but some of you do rely on the things that we talk about for reset so that you know what to do. And I just feel like I feel like we would put on a better show with us not being so tired also. And Mondays are just awful for me. I'm just dead on Mondays. So
I don't have to miss a show because of my poor planning.
So we're thinking, you know, maybe me and Rem will just do random stuff, or maybe, I don't know. But for now, that's going to be the plan. So for those of you who look for the show on Tuesdays, just be aware that the week after BlizzCon, that might be changing, and we'll take advantage of just starting on Thursday then. And then sometime after BlizzCon, we will be going back live, which I know a lot of you are not in America. I see the statistics, a good portion of you actually are not. So I don't know what this means for you guys, but yeah, so we will be going back live sometime after that as well, when I can get kind of all that stuff. So moving right along, let's talk about the stuff going on this week. So it's Pet Battle bonus event is going to be up this week. So all you pet battlers, go do your cha-cha, get your stuff, do your things. Yeah. The Great Nomergon run is October 14th. Now this is the micro little, you know, mini holiday, whatever, that is the Great Gnome, is, what is it, the Gnome, the Great Gnome Run, the Great Gnome Race?
Running of the Gnomes?
The Running of the Gnomes, thank you. So they basically are paying a tribute to that in-game, and that's going to be October 14th. So make sure you guys go do that. I feel like it might be pretty fun. I don't know.
I did it a few years ago when it wasn't a micro holiday, and it was fun. I didn't keep going back to every year, but it's a good little community event.
Well, and it gets people talking about
breast cancer, I believe.
Breast cancer and the charity. It raises awareness. I always have people that are like, just because I share this post on Facebook doesn't mean I'm going to cure cancer. You're right, it doesn't, but it brings awareness to issues that are really important across the world. So if it's forefront in your mind, you're likely to give money to it, or to, you know, donate your time or whatever you can do to those causes, because that stuff's really important. So, and boobs are important, guys. We really gotta save the tatas. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like.
But also, with remarks like that, it brings awareness to how much of a dumbass he is, though, too.
Right. But yeah, the boobs are the most important charity event, in my opinion, because we need those. Those are very useful in a lot of situations.
I don't know.
Not for me particularly.
The butt is rising up.
We talked about that last year, especially the human butt in game. We talked about how important the butt is, especially when it's your main visual in game. But yeah, the boobs are just right up there. So it's good for that to be a thing. So the closing band was announced, and
who?
That's what I was gonna say. So it's Muse, right? Is that how you say their name?
Yeah.
It's not fancy. Okay, so
no, just like Muse, like the word.
This gets posted. Now, I'm pretty eclectic on my music taste. I like a variety of music. Most of my stuff, it just depends on how I feel. I said I'm epileptic. Some days I feel like it. Fuck. So this morning I felt a little epileptic. No, so this band gets announced, and in my mind I literally went, who?
That's what I did too.
And I thought it was weird because I always usually know all kinds of music, all different types of bands, just from the super popular to the really obscure. I've never heard of them. So I posted, hey, am I the only person that doesn't know who the this band is? I'm not the only one, because it was pretty evenly split, where half the people were like, who? And the other half, were like, yes.
They're not like Metallica, where it's like literally, even if you don't like metal, you know about them, but they are.
That's who I wish I saw.
World class. Like they're one of my favorite bands ever.
Well,
you were hyped.
So a person linked one of their popular, you know, the thing that everybody would know.
Yeah.
And I have heard the song, and I did like the song. I don't dislike the band. Obviously, they're not anybody that's on my playlist, so, you know, I'm not going to be singing along with their stuff at the concert. However, I'll probably attend the concert, unless I'm trying to recover, because last year while everybody was watching Weird Al, I was passed the fuck out at the hotel room just trying to, like, regain my strength, because I'm getting old, and I can't really party like I used to be able to. But I'm excited for a new musical experience. It's nice to... They're not terrible, so that does help. Like, the song I heard is not a terrible song, although not everybody's created equal lives, so I don't know what that looks like either. But I just thought it was funny because so many people were like, who? like Rem said, it's not one of your more recognizable bands where even if you didn't listen to that, just by name association and branding, you would have heard them. So to me, nobody's really going to beat Linkin Park. And it's not because, for any other reason other than before BlizzCon, I was a fan, and I have been a fan since I was a teenager. So for that was one of the perfect things for me. Because one of my Blizzard friends, we were talking about it, and he was like, well, who would you have preferred? I don't really have a preference. I'm really okay with whoever Blizzard chooses.
Yeah.
I don't like Weird Al in the sense of what I sit through his concert. I like his stuff. I watch his parodies. I think he's funny. I like him. Do I like him enough to sit through an entire concert? Probably not. That's just, if I'm going to sit through a whole concert, I really need to like you, because I have ADD really bad. Like, really bad. So I'll go to this concert. I'll check it out. I'm excited for a different experience. I don't have to know who they are. I don't.
Well, that's the one thing about the closing ceremony for the band is you don't really have a concert feel to it. It's more of a just they perform, they do a little dance, do a little love, and get down tonight.
Did you watch Linkin Park? Because that was a concert.
No, like, okay, so you go to a day long or 2 day long concert, and you're there for like this one band, but you have all these side stages, and you find out like 4 or 5 different bands that you're actually interested in because you hear their stuff and you're really interested in it. Like, whereas with Muse, you're like, oh, I never heard about them, so I'm just not gonna go. Whereas, and then you hear about like their live performance was actually really good, and then you're like, oh shit, I should have gone.
Yeah, and I don't dislike them. I don't know them really, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for. Here's the thing, and I saw some things where people were like, I can't believe I paid for this ticket. Here's the thing that people don't understand. I don't pay money to go see a concert. That's not why I buy my BlizzCon ticket. The concert at the end is the icing on the cake, and that is, I thank Blizzard for doing that, because to be honest, nothing BlizzCon related has anything to fucking do with a closing band. I'm going to be really honest.
But the people can be excited or disappointed.
But to say you want a refund on your ticket because of the closing band,
that's
right?
extreme.
Like, that to me, it's
right?
okay to be disappointed, but
You're not going to please everyone.
we forget the real reason why we're going to BlizzCon. It's not to see music, guys. That's not why I'm going.
I don't know. It's not why I'm going, but this type of icing is not my flavor, even though I can play Uprising on the guitar, right? I think on hard or expert difficult, at least hard, I can play it on the guitar.
I go for the
Guitar
tacos.
Hero doesn't count.
I go for the tacos and the ice cream. Like, that's,
Right.
my...
But I feel like people, again, like you said, it's a little extreme to say I'm handing in my ticket, because Weird Al, even though you didn't see it, I was disappointed even from someone who likes some of his songs, but he put on a great show, and his performance actually impressed me. And I think our group,
a lot of people liked it, and I think, and I'm not sad I missed it, because I got some much needed rest, and it allowed me to be fresh for the evening's fuckery, so it was good for me. But
I picture you as a sports athlete icing in the tub after a big game.
Yes.
Like, you were just icing in the hotel room, right?
I was in full recoup mode. Like, I was dead as dead could possibly be. But it's good, and I'm excited for those who are excited for it. I think Blizzard has the unique task every year of trying to figure out how to
please us all,
everyone. Like, I would not want to have that guy's job.
Well, how many
to do that?
Do we know how many tickets they sold for this year's? I can't remember.
It was because it's more than normal. I'm not 100%
They had that third one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I still haven't gotten my
But
approval or denial for my badge, and I saw somebody saying that the reason that the delays were on the media badges were because they overextended on the tickets. So I'm not really sure, to be perfectly honest.
Because, you have, 9,000 maybe people? And you're going to have at least half of those people be
there's at minimum 30.
Like 25,000.
There was 30,000 people last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
when I heard that number on my first BlizzCon, that blew my mind, because I'm like, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, last year was just under 30,000 in attendance. So
probably like 40 then this year, because
I'm sure, and they did more seats, but I haven't, the ticket thing, I'm not 100% sure like how much they sold, but I know that there's a group I'm in, and another wave of media badge approval and denials went out today, and I still haven't gotten either. To me, no news is good news. I mean, I have an insider that said I'm pretty good to go with the media badge, but until I see that shit in my email, I don't believe you. So, because every year somebody tells me they could get me media passes, they can all suck a dick because it never happens. But I saw that one of them had said that the reason is because the media badges that you get, it's an actual ticket, so it takes the place of your normal, whatever ticket. Like, so I don't know if they said something about they were scrambling because they didn't have enough. I don't really know. So I don't know if the fact that they added more tickets on this year because they opened up another hall, if that had any.
Maybe.
I don't really know.
But I mean, really quick, in terms of the closing ceremony, what band could you even think of besides the one they've already done?
Chili Peppers.
That would be like
Hot Chili Peppers.
Encompass all the peoples.
Disturbed, Korn.
I mean, for me personally, Korn would be fucking amazing. I've seen them twice.
But I think it's most people of our generation in general. Like, well,
but
maybe
I mean,
not your generation because you're young, but
you have people from 18 to
right
going. So I mean,
yeah, it's one of those things where it's got to be a universal. You really have to find that universal. And what people don't understand is they're never going to get the new. So if you're looking for someone that's top charts right now, they're never going to get that because Blizzard can't afford that.
They can, but they won't pay it.
No, Blizzard cannot afford that. Like, let's say they wanted to go get, I don't know who
Pop Evil.
Who?
Pop Evil.
Whoever the person topping the charts is right now that is currently relevant. Like,
Cardi B?
They can't afford that. Like, their budget, guys, it's not.
That's fair.
These are concert guys that sell out shows. It's not going to be a thing. So they kind of have to go a little bit older when it comes to popularity.
I have to cut you off there for a second, though. Muse still sells out stadiums.
I'm sure that they do, but they're not so widely known that everybody knew who they were. Is my point. So, like, if you're looking for a chart topper right now, where that's the most popular thing in the world, it's expensive. Like, it's
Taylor
expensive.
Swift?
Drizzy Drake, bud.
I would be not opposed to Taylor Swift, but what would Taylor Swift be doing at a BlizzCon concert? Really,
shaking it off.
Okay, enough about BlizzCon because people are probably getting annoyed because they come here for World of Warcraft and not BlizzCon. So, moving on.
They're just mad they're not going then. I was having fun.
The Croakle flute upgrade to the Flight Master's whistle.
What?
The Croakle flute. The upgrade to the Flight Master's whistle, which basically is your new thing on Argus. That was hotfixed to be account-wide, which is pretty awesome. Now, you need to be revered with Argusian Reach in order to be able to purchase it from the Argusian vendor, which is the left side of the Vindicar if you're facing away from the teleporters. So go buy your whistle. Hopefully you guys are revered by now. I should be. The other day I wasn't, so I had to go do some stuff. But that basically is your whistle. The Flight Master's whistle, it'll automatically turn into the Croakle flute when you zone into Argus. So go do that. That was hotfixed to be account wide. It's great if you have alts. Yeah, so there's that. Guys, Battle.net, right? It's going through changes, guys. We're going through things. The appear offline feature is now live. Here's the problem I have with that. That is an amazing feature, and I'm for one was
You've
like
been asking for it.
Stoked. The only thing I forgot about is it doesn't hide you in guilds. So like,
yeah, you're stuck. That's gonna work for normal people like Rem and I, but not you.
It's gonna work for friends that are not guildies.
Worked earlier.
It's gonna work for friends that are not guildies when I'm busy and stuff. The problem is there's a lot of times when I log in game and I'm AFK. The reason I log in game is just so that my presence is felt by the guild so that they know I'm there. But I'm often doing other things, especially when it's a little earlier in the evening and my children are screaming like fucking maniacs. Now, Rem's been to my house. When I'm in game, every time I log in, people typically want to run mythics or they want to do, something in a group with me, which is wonderful. I like doing those things. Here's the problem when my children are awake. The second we zone into a Mythic Plus, my child, one needs a drink, one needs food, one didn't like the food I gave them, so they need something else. One can't find his toy. They start fighting over whose turn it is on the Xbox. I'm up and down, up and down, up and down. I can't run a Mythic Dungeon with my children. I just can't until they go to bed. So sometimes I avoid logging into game because
I don't have that issue when I'm at her house. They just hang out with me.
Because I'm going to be hit with, 30 different messages. Hey, let's go run this. And which I love that. And I don't want people to stop doing that, which is why I don't complain about it. Because it's not a source of complaint. I just feel bad because I always say no like right when I
Right,
first
you
log
don't
in.
want to feel like you're letting people
Yeah,
down.
and I don't like feeling that way. So I've started to not kind of log in until I'm actually ready to play. But there have been times when I've needed to take screenshots or do something in game for something project related, and I have to be in game, and then I feel bad for
I
that.
know.
So
I like hopped on a computer to fuck with her on her character, and 10 people whispered me when I logged on. I was like, oh god.
it's a great way to be. I could have no friends, right? So I'm definitely not complaining. I'm really happy about that. I feel like I'm letting people down when I have to tell them no. So I would like the ability to be able to hide in guilds.
You just got to be a yes man.
But to be fair, most of the guildies know by now that if I'm in Delaran or if I'm in my order hall, I'm likely AFK and not at the computer. And they'll message me like, Van, he's really good about that. And I feel bad because Van asks me every time I log in, and it's especially so close to BlizzCon, I just don't have the mental resource to do what I need to do. I ran some earlier with guildies during work. Don't tell my boss, because they needed a DPS and I felt bad. But
So when you guys brought it up last week about the app, I had no intention of downloading it. I'm like, I don't care. Like that was my initial thought, and I did 2 days ago, and it's amazing because obviously your conversations are always there, and I was able to connect with viewers of the show, people I don't talk to very often. I just hope Blizzard will consider increasing our friend list.
well, we're going to talk about that in a second, actually.
That was the segue.
Yeah, that was a really good segue. So, yeah, I love the app, and it is good for people who, if you're not Facebook friends with them, or you're not, you don't follow each other on Twitter, it's nice that you don't have to feel obligated to add them to your personal social situation. I personally don't add everybody on my personal Facebook because I have children, and I just don't feel like that's appropriate. So, unless, we're friends, whatever, then that's cool. You can see my awkward Snapchats of my potty selfies. But yeah, I would like the ability to have to be hidden in game, so that if I have to log in and just do something in game real quick, I don't want to feel bad because I have to say no because I have to immediately log out, or because I just don't have the time right that second. I don't like telling people no.
That was your segue.
I know, but you interrupted my thought process, so I had to finish it. So moving on. Yeah, so the ability
I'm just glad
to
I can play on Moonguard and not be judged.
that's weird. The ability to create groups is also live inside Battle.net. I created a PWNCAST one. I don't really know what I'm doing with it. I created it so I could save the name. Here's what's weird. Yeah, but here's what's weird. I created one for the guild. It feels like they stole from Discord, and I'm gonna need Blizzard to be not stealing from Discord.
Why? Who cares?
Well, because they
What do you
did.
mean they stole from
like
Blizz?
if they
The
just,
ideas, the concept,
the concept
maybe?
is the exact
Yeah.
same. I just feel like
Which is fine, but
the concept is the exact same for everything like it. I mean, you can't steal it from Discord. Discord stole it from someone else.
But they should have just done it
Ooh.
initially. I just don't understand. Why did you wait for somebody else to develop the technology before you implement it? However, that was just something that was supposed to be funny that Rem fucking ruined, like always. So with that being said, let me move on, because he completely ruined my funny. Now, this does bring all the changes that are being made. Once again, Gemma struggles to keep up.
Funny?
It was supposed to be funny, and you ruined it. I was making fun of Blizzard for stealing from Discord, and like usual, because you have to be a salty fuck, you ruined it.
no,
anyway,
we're just very serious about
I
it.
was just being
don't
a real.
put yourself into that, Gemma. You don't want to be in Rem's little box right now, because he's in
I have my own box.
he's
as we
in the
speak.
no-no box right now.
no box.
However, with
no-no.
all of the things that Blizzard is doing with Battle.net, it does bring upon some speculation. Speculation specifically regarding the Blizzard MMO or the Blizzard mobile MMO
I didn't know you were gonna talk
/
about
RTS.
that. Okay.
It's in the fucking show notes. How did you not know I was going to talk about it? It's been
I
on the
didn't
show
look
notes
through
for 3
every
fucking
single-
days.
And I looked through every
These
line.
guys,
Calm down.
everybody
Motherfucker.
wonders why I'm crazy. That's a complete shock that Belle's going to talk about something that's in the show.
Well, don't group me up with his box. Remember, we're too.
I
separate.
told you didn't want to be in his box.
What did my show notes show, huh?
I looked at your stuff earlier. You're talking about Antorus and the beginning couple bosses. Fuck off, because I pay attention. So,
Actually, there's more to it, okay?
okay, well, I didn't read all of it. Listen, so the speculation
Oh!
for the mobile MMO / RTS project, because we do know that that's what they're doing. We know that that's where Tom Chilton is. We know that that's where Holinka is. That's where these Warcraft guys have been gobbled up into the fucking
Warcraft
nothingness.
4. Warcraft
So
4.
we do know that it is a mobile project, so it does bring that speculation. Obviously, they're gearing up in the Battle.net with them having a separate app, I think might have something to do with that on a larger scale, because they are putting a lot of work into the BattleNet thing. So with the next project being MMO related or mobile related, I'm hoping we'll see something about it at BlizzCon, but I think we really know we're not going to, because that's not on the schedule anywhere. There isn't anything that talks about future projects on the schedule, and there's not really much surprise when it comes to like, surprise, we have a new game. They usually have it, you know, labeled under whatever for that.
Yeah, it's hidden, but it's mapped out.
Yeah, so because we haven't seen anything, I don't think we really need to. But like I said, the mobile or the BattleNet in general, not even just for the mobile phone, but the BattleNet getting so much stuff added to it, I think that brings about some speculation over what what could be coming mobile related. Is it going to be World of Warcraft? Is it going to be a combination like Heroes of the Storm pulls from, all the different characters in game? I don't really know where we would even begin speculation on that, but I think in the coming weeks it might be a good idea for the three of us, when I say three of us, probably the two of us, to kind of deep dive into the internet. And that's not an insult.
Yeah, that's a shot. You're good.
That's just stuff we do. That's not stuff Jimma does. Jimma doesn't go.
Says who? I've already mapped that out.
Do you already have ideas on what you think the new mobile game's going to be?
Quest me, Jim. Come on.
He Google mapped it earlier. No, but I mean, I'm going to have to see if we can lurk into the dark recesses of the internet and see if we can come up with some.
You basically want to play a guessing game for something.
Yeah, some possible. I don't really know.
I already know exactly what it is. It's all good.
What is it, Rem?
Oh, you do, Rem? You do?
We'll go talk about that later, though.
Warcraft Go.
What would that even, like, what Warcraft related thing could there be on mobile? Tell me.
That's interesting, actually. I don't know.
Tell me.
You're gonna go into the world, and instead of gyms, you're taking over town halls. Instead of Pokestops, they're Goldshires.
That would actually be kind of cool. I would play that.
I mean, that would be cool, actually. I mean, have like a not real time, but not the virtual reality, but the
augmented reality.
Augmented reality. Have that with Warcraft and all that. Yeah.
Wow. Jimma reads words good.
But no, so because this started with the whole speculation thing where they posted for the job opening for the mobile thing. I don't think it's the mobile thing itself. I think they're using the mobile as in creating the game.
Oh.
Like, it's not going to be an MMORTS mobile thing.
It is.
Like,
it specifically states that on the project on their website, FYI.
Okay.
It's in the notes too, Rem.
The way that I put it is exactly how it is on the internet. It's the mobile RTS/MMO project is literally what it's called.
Okay, I'm not interested anymore.
He's done. He's checked out.
But we don't know what that means. Like, we don't really know. I don't fucking know what that means.
I'm done.
It's, who knows? They've done very well. It's similar to like your Discord mention, right? They've done well at taking every game type. That'd be awesome.
I don't think it's pet battles. I can't believe they would pull Tom Chilton and Holinka for a fucking pet battle.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
But I would like.
I think it makes sense for that. Yeah.
I would like to theory craft a little bit on what we think that could possibly be. I need to check some trademarks. Actually, I should probably do that. I try to check every now and then. Blizzard's getting a lot more crafty with that shit, where they don't put the trademarks until like right before they're gonna make an announcement. It's kind of annoying. Because
we should just trademark random bullshit that we would think that they would do, and then
right.
They can't take it.
No, you're 100% correct. And the BlizzCon schedule, obviously. There's going to be raid testing, I think October 11th for Antorus on PTR. I think it's Mythic and Heroic. So get some friends and go do that cha-cha. I'm not about that life. But with the schedule that was released for BlizzCon, which make sure you guys get your virtual ticket. If you're not attending BlizzCon, you won't want to miss. It's going to be an expansion announcement BlizzCon. So no matter what, you want to make sure that you see that.
Well, that too, but I mean, they're showcasing every stage with the virtual ticket this year. So, I mean, you're definitely going to want to get it.
And this year, everybody noticed, and when I say everybody, I mean the podcasting community noticed a new feature where there's podcasts being featured live in one of the halls. Now, I think that's great. Yeah, we've been asking for this for a really long time. But I'm going to say a couple things here that I'm probably not going to make a lot of friends with, and I'm really okay with that. So there's two podcasts that are being featured here. Now, I know how Blizzard is, and Blizzard kisses people's asses, and that just is what it is, and that's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings, and we're not one of those people whose asses they kiss because we're not important, and that's okay. Now, I understand the instance because it's fucking Scott Johnson. The guy is a legend. No matter what he does, like, that just is what it is, and I would be offended if Scott Johnson wasn't doing that because he's amazing. He paved the way for us podcasters, so by all means, I hail to the king, like, you deserve that spot. However, the other podcast is Allcraft. I don't dislike Allcraft because I love Asmongold. That's my dude. However, their podcast is only 3 months old. On the website, on the schedule, it said fan favorite. Or World of Warcraft community favorite, Allcraft. They've been a podcast for 3 months.
I think it is probably based on popularity.
No, it's based on fame and the fact that Rich Campbell works for Blizzard, and it's got Hotted on there, and Hotted's super famous. Asmongold's amazing, guys. I'm happy for him. I think it's a great opportunity for him. That's my dude. Like, yeah. I'm super, super happy. I am a little frustrated that instead of Blizzard taking the opportunity to showcase several different podcasts from, you know, different things, and maybe they still plan on doing that. I don't really know, but I feel like there's lots of other podcasts that are just as worthy, and I'm not even talking about us, guys. This isn't a salty thing. I can't imagine them ever calling us and being like, hey, do you guys want to do a live show? Like, I just don't ever feel like that's going to be a thing, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
It didn't work with my schedule, really.
Right. But there's so many others that I don't know, guys. For me, I don't know. I'm a little frustrated.
I think because you also fight for the little guy.
Yes, and last year podcasting was completely fucking irrelevant in the eyes of Blizzard. Podcasting was completely irrelevant in the eyes of Blizzard last year, where they didn't give two shits about podcasters. And I'm calling it like I see it. So if anybody works for Blizzard that's watching, you know I'm not wrong. Now, this year, all of a sudden, podcasters are super amazing, but we're only going to feature the super famous guys. Like, that's all we're doing. And I'm not even saying feature the little guys, but there's so many other podcasters that are equally as famous that have been around a lot longer that I felt like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say numbers don't lie. Obviously,
it's all about who you network, and I was going to say who you blow, but that's not what I meant.
I thought you were going to say that too. Actually.
It's about who you know, and obviously, Allcraft has Rich Campbell, and Asmongold himself could have got himself there because I love him, and so does everybody else. So really, that there isn't anything there. Now, if Asmongold wasn't on there, I might not be so happy about their spot, but because that's my dude, I'm happy for his success, because you have to be happy for your friends' success. You can't be bitter about that. But I want people to understand it has nothing to do with us, because we are not in the running for any of that ever. So
a little bit to do with us.
It does not at all. Could I really do a live show for Blizzard? No, I don't think. I would probably puke.
You'd be on there with bells on.
Yeah, I'd be on there with fucking a puke bag attached to my face, because I don't know that I could do that.
Nervous,
but course. I feel like they missed an opportunity. Maybe they're using this as a test, right? Maybe they're using guys that they know don't have a fear of performing or things like that. Maybe they're using that as a test, and I think that's great if they are. But the podcasting community in general was very upset. Nobody, of course, says it publicly because nobody has balls like I do. I say how I fucking feel. Not everybody does that because they're afraid of offending people, but everybody was pretty fucking pissed off.
Constructive might be a little more safer than telling Blizzard to go.
This all makes sense they're doing it now, though, because you guys don't know what's going on around like all the other cons and all that. But for TwitchCon and all that, we have me, JP, and some other guys, Ezekiel and Co Carnage. What they do is they have a podcast called Dropped Frames, and it's pretty much showcases anything in the world about games, anything like that. Mm-hmm. And it's gotten extremely popular with their live broadcasting at TwitchCon. So that's because Blizzard, they're smart as shit, so they're paying attention to all the other stuff going on, and they realize that it can be a thing. So.
And I hope that this leads them into, and I'm not saying that I want them to call every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has a podcast and ask them to do it. That's not what I'm saying. I want them to be involved in the community, and instead of paying fan service to the super duper famous all the time, take a look at, there's guys that have been podcasting for 6-7 years that really, really deserve, I just think they deserve
some acknowledgement at least.
Boom. Yeah. That's the clip. Just say how you just said it, instead of what he said prior to the.
But I wasn't rude. Like I wasn't insulting the other. I wasn't insulting anybody.
No.
I
Maybe it's good.
I wanted people to know that it has nothing to do with the podcast in general. It has to do with really what Blizzard values in their influencers per se, because even though like we ain't nobody special, but we influence. I've had 3 people this week tell me I brought them back to WoW. That to me is a fucking influencer, whether it's 1 or 1,000. That's the way that I look at it. But
Right.
I sometimes I get frustrated doing what we do and watching the super famous become even more super famous, because that's what Blizzard values, instead of Blizzard valuing all these guys that do all this stuff on a daily basis. Chaos Portal, Azeroth Radio, like all those podcasts, Frozen Nerds, like these guys that put this stuff out. Lagging Balls, for fuck's sake. I love this, but I don't know, guys.
There's no lagging balls.
Yeah, this podcast. She's cute too, Gemma. You should.
New subscriber coming through.
Yeah, she's her and I are, I think, maybe similar in our attitudes and stuff. But I these are podcasts that I listen to even before.
Don't do it, Jim.
But yeah, so I don't know, guys. That was just my little mini rant on. I just wish Blizzard would find the value in all things instead of just some things. I guess that's, whatever. That's the par for the course, guys. It's between the haves and have-nots. It always has been. That's just the way that the world runs, really. But to that end, I am excited anyway to see podcasts in general being showcased at BlizzCon. Doesn't matter who they are. I think that it's a good step in the direction of keeping podcasters relevant, because we are relevant. And I think that it is important, which is why I wanted to be a part of Calm Before the Storm this year in a much larger role, because I feel like it's important to keep people alive in what we're doing. This is the age of the internet. Podcasting should be even more of a thing now than it was 5 years ago, because now you can have your own fucking show on YouTube and you don't have to have a network.
Oh yeah, no, you guys were ahead of the game as far as like PWNCAST when you guys started. Obviously, Rem and I weren't a part of that,
but the video was so. Were we ahead of the game? Because that video was bad.
You weren't technology wise, but audio wise, like again. Podcasts have blown up over the last couple of years. Yes,
and I think it's important. Now you could have a show that's more popular than a show on network TV on YouTube, and I think that it's an important time for content creators to really connect with people and have a purpose and define that purpose in what they're doing. I like that Blizzard is paying. They don't have to pay attention to the little guy for me to be happy that they're. It doesn't matter who they're doing at this point. I'm just happy that they're finding value in podcasting, because I get scared sometimes because I feel like podcasting is a dying art, and I don't do half of the stuff that I should be doing. I don't really promote PWNCAST. I don't post the episode on my Twitter. I don't do 90% of the stuff that I should do as a content creator for no other reason other than I'm tired and I forget. I really do forget. We would probably get double the views if I actually put in some effort on promotion.
Maybe Blizzard would invite you to events if
right.
they maybe
But I also don't know how to promote. So if you want to work for PWNCAST and you want to be my promoter for free, hey, send me an email and hit me up if you know how to do that kind of stuff, because I don't know how to promote stuff.
We need a hype man.
Yeah, we really do need a hype man. So anyway, moving on. I just wanted to talk about that. And I do want to make sure that I give a congratulations to my buddy Asmongold, because I think that's a huge honor for him, and I know that he's super stoked. So
only one that matters.
That will be his first BlizzCon too.
Is that his first BlizzCon? I know that
he didn't go last year. He's never been.
I'm excited to get to meet him in real life, but I think it's a huge thing for him. He probably shit his pants when he found out that was going to be a thing. So unfortunately, they announced it late because everybody in the world already knew, because BlizzCon posted the schedule, and they did Allcraft did a show where they did the big announcement, which was kind of funny, because Blizzard basically ruined their surprise, which they probably knew anyway, because Rich Campbell works for Blizzard. So I don't know how that he's not really. I don't think
he gets payroll from them for being
but he does other stuff too that's not Blizzard related. So he's an entertainer. I guess that's what
he's a copy.
Right. He's just an entertainer and whatnot. So so all that, I'm excited for Scott Johnson, really, because
shout out to Stone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Stone, happy Thanksgiving.
And the fact that he's doing Con for Storm.
He really is.
He's probably nervous.
Yeah, he's nervous, but he's.
I don't know him that well, but I would assume he's maybe a little nervous.
So it's going to be easier this year because they went back to the original format of the first time. So it's the smaller room. It's not the big giant room, kind of scary situation. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot better. It's a lot more intimate, question mark. I'm not sure which room it is or how big
Kind
it is,
of. And like your beef with what you just said about Blizzard and putting them on a stage, you're still helping and controlling by introducing the other podcasts, you know what I mean? So there's still a
and
venue
that's what I want. And that's really
Yeah.
what Calm Before the Storm is about when it comes to the World of Podcast section is to highlight. And when I was telling when I did the reveal with Seraphis, one of the things that I had told people is it's important if you are a podcaster or you listen to podcasts for you to bring other people into that environment. So and so might not know that there's a podcast that they could get information that they don't necessarily have to just Google on YouTube or whatever to find, that there might be a show that you could watch every week that would tell you exactly what you need to know, and you can connect with those people. It's important that we keep what we do kind of alive. So we've come very far as a podcast. I watch and listen to older stuff, and I see my transition and how awful I was in the very beginning, and I didn't understand what I was doing, but we've developed so well over the last couple of years that I am so proud.
So many hairstyles.
I know, the hair alone is amazing, guys. You guys have been with me for 3 years of hair. It's a different thing. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm also
the biggest change has been within the
some people have been, I've gotten a lot of feedback this week. I got some Facebook messages, I got a couple emails, and I got a couple Twitter direct messages that talked about just having three people on the show and how much they've really enjoyed it. And I gotta admit, guys, I really do enjoy not bringing in a fourth. We've kicked around that idea for, a little while because Secret's out doing whatever weird shit Secret does. I feel like the content we put out is better when it's less, and this leaves openings for guests, and it seems
We're
a lot
tripod.
smoother to me. Yeah, I like it. I'm really enjoying.
People are really enjoying the desk. I think it's the
tripods
desk.
are more
is-
stable.
I think the
everything.
desk brought you up a level in
For real.
your professionalism for sure.
I feel
Well,
it.
just in his life in general, like
Yeah.
Yeah. You look super alcoholic though
Comfortable.
because your skin's really pink because of your camera, and I don't know why.
I'm feeling old.
Are you
but
feeling
I'm
old?
glad Rem has cleaned up a little bit, but your desk is way messier. Look at this space.
So
What are you doing to your desk?
me?
No, Rem.
Oh, I was gonna say my desk is messy because I have all the weird stuff.
Actually, I just noticed,
everywhere.
yeah, Val, you could clean up a little too.
I
Come
know.
on, guys.
It's embarrassing. I really do need to. It's like there's shit everywhere, guys.
That's nice, Rem. Some bling
yeah,
bling.
it is nice. Huh? Wonder what it is.
For those of you listening, not watching on YouTube, as Bell would normally say, Remedies is wearing his DitchCon backer.
He is.
Lanyard?
Yeah, it's a lanyard. I have mine somewhere.
That was a pretty good Bell impression. That's exactly what you would have said, I think.
It is what I would have said.
For those of you.
Just like that.
So this week I
sh-
got tons of stuff. I wanted to show you guys.
Check this
So
out.
this is my Calm Before the Storm shirt, which
Oh,
is
that's
pretty
nice.
sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Calm
That's
Before the
cool.
Storm gave me a lot of ideas. They really got it figured out with like their backer rewards and their t-shirts for people. We're gonna go simpler next year so that I could get t-shirts, and then
Yeah, you are.
For
Wait,
being-
Ready to work.
for
Is
being,
that-
this is for Calm Before the Storm for
It is?
working
Okay.
on that's like the worker.
Can you give us a job's done?
Can I have that shirt after Combo Storm?
No.
Fuck.
And then I already had this shirt because Rem bought it for me, but I got a double. So Rack, who is he's the co-founder and co-owner of Method, he sent me these. The box that it came in it looked like somebody kicked it and ran it over, and
Oh yeah, no, the bag that I got the extra shirt in was.
yeah,
piece
it
of
looked
shit.
rough. And then
The sweater?
the hoodie, the Method hoodie I got
Nice.
this week. It wasn't the jersey with my name on the back like I have been hoping, but I figure I probably have to earn that. Just because I just signed on with Method doesn't mean that I automatically get it. I probably have to put in some work for that. And I also got a pretty sweet Method pin,
Oh, that's nice.
and then
that's
little pins for
cool.
Calm Before the Storm.
Some of the crazy pin collectors at BlizzCon would probably kill for some of those.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know that that's exclusive to staff, but I got it. So, yeah. I don't know why I showed everybody that. I just felt like it was important.
It was good. I wanted to see it. I didn't see that shirt.
And we don't have any more news, so I kind of had to fill things before the segments with stuff so that it wasn't a short
Pin?
show.
Pin collecting, I found it is real last
It
BlizzCon.
is
I'm
a
like,
big
holy.
thing. Yeah, you're right. And it's a like
You can collect anything, Jim, and someone would
Right?
go crazy over it.
Now Blizzard might
Like-
not be listening,
like dick
right?
pics,
Because
Jim. You're okay for your dick pic collection. You don't have
I
to
don't
hide
send them out. It's there for live. It's a live type of moment. But Blizzard might not be listening because of maybe a rant, but just for their information, I'm not buying anything other than a BlizzCon shirt. You're not getting any of my money $50 hats. Okay.
So they can
Stupid ass things.
Yeah,
Tio and I were in line to buy stuff, and I'm like, oh, do I get the hat? They had these mystery boxes, right? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy a mystery box because you didn't know what it was. I don't know if it was a shirt or something. And it was just
it could be a boat.
right? Yeah, it could be anything. It'd be a collector's edition. We're going all crazy, but it was just a Overwatch poster or shirt, and I'm like, I would have been so pissed if I bought that. Like, Blizzard, you're not getting any more of my money. WoW subscription, my T-shirt, that's it. That's it. You make a good product, but I'll get it when it's 70% off.
Well, so do drug dealers, but it's never going to be 70% off. Gemma.
Say that to the duplicate Alliance hat that I bought. I got two. One for 50, one for $12.50. But anyways, Blizzard does make a good product.
So is that cute but deadly backpack for BlizzCon.
I can't
5.
wait.
They
Yeah,
just
I want
posted.
that
Did anybody see
backpack.
that? They posted that a few minutes ago. The Wowhead people did an unboxing.
There's too much
or
going
some
on
shit.
with it for me. Personally.
I think it's cute. I would get it for sure.
Thanks.
I'm not
I
gonna
briefly looked at
Pay,
it.
I'm not gonna pay like $100 for it, but it is. What it is. So yeah, guys.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for the news in World of Warcraft. There isn't a whole lot of news. It's winding down. We're waiting for patch 7.3.5. Not a whole lot to talk about there. I'll probably pull out some important items that most of it is just kind of background stuff for the raid. Nothing really huge happening there. I think the next patch that we're expecting is I don't really know.
732.
What?
732.
I know I meant after that, like the big data patch. Another big patch after that.
735.
I don't think there's going to be a 735.
Where'd the 4 go?
I don't think there's going to be a 735. I think we're going to go right to 7.4, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I'm just saying I haven't heard any of them mention anything about 7.4.
You heard it here, guys. She just guaranteed it. 7.
You heard it here first.
He just hasn't. Normally they'll say a couple of patches out, and Ian hasn't said anything. Oh, that was the other part that I almost missed about the news. I completely forgot about the QA highlights. What, guys?
It's actually kind of big. Yeah, that's wow.
There isn't a whole lot that needs to be mentioned, to be perfectly honest, because it really wasn't a huge amount of information. There was a couple things that I wanted to mention that are really, really quick. So one of the questions were, is there any plans for artifact appearances, any updates post-Legion? So nothing has changed. The only appearances that will be off limits after Legion, so meaning the next expansion, are going to be the challenge skill required ones. So things like the Mage Tower. If you don't do your Mage Tower before Legion, you're burnt. So you're not going to lose those appearances if you have them. It just means you won't be able to obtain them. It's not obvious because some people thought that's what he was saying. So
Really?
yeah, what you would think is obvious is not really
Fair.
Some people.
Yeah, some people are like, oh yeah, I'll just wait till afterwards and I'll go get it.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people thought it meant that their appearances would disappear. Guys, come on.
Even Jim didn't think that in this gym. Come on.
Yes, you'll be able to use the new druid forms.
Cool.
The artifact weapon forms. Upgrading your legendaries to 1,000 is going to be the same as it was for all the other times we upgraded via repeatable quest. Now, I thought to myself, Belle, it's kind of weird that they're going into the 1,000 range for item level. Well, because of the new raid, the legendaries have to be better than the gear, so it makes sense that they would go up to 1,000. But I think we can expect some type of stat or item level squish come the new expansion, because really we can't keep going into like the 3,000s for item level stuff, because that's just fucking stupid.
I kind of don't want to be doing like 10 million damage. It's kind of
they talked about, will legendaries become more available in 3.7.3.5 and future whatever. They are keeping an eye on drop rates. They will adjust if needed. He did talk about how it does seem frustrating for a fresh 100 who needs the legendaries, because he did admit we did fuck up there by creating this need because people were getting sat out on raids because they didn't have at least 2 legendaries or at least 1 legendary and whatnot. He did say that was not our intention, and we didn't realize the impact that was going to have. You didn't really. You couldn't have thought in advance and maybe done a fucking focus group. But what I love
that's good.
what I love about Ian is he always owns his shit, and that is good. I can respect an organization that owns their mistakes, unlike Holinka, where it took him like 2 years to admit that Ashran was a fucking nightmare. But I like Ian because
let Ashran die.
So, you know, they are going to be watching that. They will increase that if it's needed. That is something that they are paying close attention to, especially with people needing to have their legendaries on alts for the new expansion for leveling, right? Because you're going to want to make sure you have as much power as possible for that. So he is taking care of that. Now, what was data mined that we didn't really know much about, which is why I didn't talk about it previously, Wowhead had data mined these tokens that you get. They're class-specific tokens, which basically create a legendary for that class. Everybody was in an uproar about this. Ian gave us a little bit more information on what that actually is. So on your main, if you collect every single legendary for your class, every legendary available for your class, you unlock the ability to get these tokens to use them for your alts.
That is cool.
I don't know how it works. I don't know how difficult it is to, once you have all those, to get the tokens. I don't know if there's a quest you have to do. I'm not really sure about that process because I didn't deep dive into it. I'm sure I will as I do. So if there's those of you watching going, I know how it works, I don't really care because I'll look into it and we'll go into it. We'll go into it when it's I'm sure you will, but we'll go into it when I have had a chance to look at it myself. It's just not something that was on my priority list.
Can we encourage the community? Please leave a comment and tell you how it works.
Sometimes I mention things that I plan on taking a deeper look into later, and people are like, you didn't mention this. I didn't fucking mean to. So, yeah.
But on that point of collecting all of them, the only person in the guild that can do that is Aja.
Right. So you do want to try to collect all of them. Like me, I'm like, I don't really need any more legendaries. I'm pretty good. Now I'm like, fuck, I kind of want to do that because it will allow you to create one for your class. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I instantly realized that I wouldn't get all of them from my monk, but it would be cool for the classes that have tank or heal or DPS where you can go, oh, now I can just give I would imagine they would work that way too, right?
Yeah, it's 2 ults. Well, it would make sense for you to use the token on your main that has all of the legendaries.
Well, you'd have it say on your healing. For healing. So if I wanted a tank, and I'd be like, yo, I'll just use this token on my tank or my.
No, I think it says your class. It doesn't say spec. It says you have to have all the.
Yeah, but that would be.
Says you have to acquire all the legendaries for your class, so that includes all of the roles. Your tank, if you have a tank DPS.
Good luck.
Well, I don't do holy, so
I feel like they'll correct that.
It says class. It's not intended.
I believe
it's not intended for it to be easy either. It was not intended. It was intended for it to be the serious.
Right,
players.
But druids, pallies, and monks should be penalized because a warlock.
All I know is he said class. He could have meant spec, and I'll. As we get closer, I'll double check to see what that means. He did say class. Let us know in the
comments, please.
I was gonna say you don't have to do any research, Belle. We got people listening.
but Wowhead doesn't even know. It's not on Wowhead's site because we barely got the information from Ian and the Q&A. Up until then, we didn't know what it was. Wowhead data mined the tokens, but they didn't know what they were for. So nobody really has that information outside of what he said, which he said the word class. I only know because I transcribed the Q&A for Method's website. And he said class, so.
Our viewers know.
Well, I'm sure it would make sense, but to me it would make sense that it would have to be the whole class. I think it would be in, like, I don't know. Anyway.
We'll see.
We'll see how that goes. They have no plans on balancing for Antorus because they can't use Tumus Sargeras to balance. It doesn't make any sense to do that. Because what works for Tumus Sargeras, it doesn't work for Antorus. So,
but that makes perfect sense. At the same time, they're doing raid testing right now in Antorus, so they should have a pretty good idea of where.
He just said they don't have any plans on doing any class tuning, like balance for underperforming specs.
As long as I don't get nerfed, I'm fine where
I am. The question was asked about old set bonuses, reducing the viability. Having six slots locked behind the tier feels really bad. Basically, Ian said he agrees. They've adjusted some tier 19 bonuses. The 6th slot was added basically for more flexibility to make room for the legendaries. So he did say that it does work. Yeah, he did say that it does. It doesn't feel like it should. So that is something that they're working on.
Oh, they might take it away because people are saying stuff. I feel like that's a good thing.
Well, it just depends. I'm trying to just... Okay, so somebody had asked about the followers needing to be 950. Feels underwhelming with the current rewards for the mission table to bother getting your followers up to 950. Well, that's because we haven't gotten the Antorus raid missions yet. Those, you're going to need 950 followers to complete those, and they did say that the rewards were going to be worth it. So, FYI. FYI, you have some time to work on that, but you're going to need 950 in order to be able to complete the Antorus raid missions. So hopefully there's going to be stuff that really is worth it and not just Ian's version of worth it, because I feel like right. I feel like what he says is worth it is not what we feel is worth it.
It's gold. We gave you
But if
gold.
we throw it down and reverse it,
well, yeah.
Could be.
He asked about the PvP seasons being synced with patches. That isn't something that's intended. It just depends on what they're adding for the PvP season, which we kind of already knew. We kind of already knew that was going to be a possibility, depending on what needs to be added. So for this next patch, it's not going to have a PvP season tied to it, which it wouldn't make sense to because it's 7.3.2. And he did mention 7.3.5 up there earlier. I don't know what the fuck they're going to be adding for that. That's kind of weird. Anyway, so yeah, it's not intentional. It just happened to be the way that it's worked out. It's only when they need to add huge things, especially when it comes to class balancing, that they need to be able to do that. So he also addressed why quests weren't account-wide for Crocun and Macquarie, and that's because the way the zones work. So basically he broke down, because I didn't understand this either, and I was quite annoyed. So a lot of these world quests go hand in hand with one-time story events that happen for both of these zones, and it doesn't make sense for them to be account-wide because you have to unlock them. Some of them are also class-specific. So there might... I know that's what you told me, but the way you said it to me didn't make any sense. The way he said it made perfect sense, where he said that the stories...
Well, yeah, he designed it. Of course it
He said that the stories overlap. So the reason is because some of the world quests overlap with the actual storyline, so it wouldn't make sense to alts that would go and do those world quests for an immersion standpoint. That's the reason that those are locked behind needing to be opened up for every...
But I've gone through most of it with my paladin. I don't see any difference, and that's why I don't get about him.
He said some of the stuff that we do world quest related is class specific based off going through that story. I don't know that I've seen a difference either, but
it's working as intended. It's all good.
Nice.
Nice. I feel like I messed up on that one. I was reading through my article and I think I left something out. Anyway, not important. He talked about the world bosses. They're less random and more structured, which needed to be, because, so it's a fixed rotation versus a random rotation in regards to like the spider boss.
Waiting for Gemma, the
Weathered Jim.
Yeah, and it's some of those drop like rank 3s of stuff, and Ian did say like it's nice that not everybody has that rank 3 because then they can make more money, because they can make more things because it costs less for them. So they, whatever. I understood his reasoning completely. He did say that they want it to be, difficult for people to get the rank 3s of some things that are a boss drop like that, but he doesn't want to make it impossible. So I think that that's pretty good. Somebody also asked if the world bosses would stay with their current item level for gear being given away, or if, they would be beefed up. And Ian's response, he always makes me laugh when it's like an obvious answer. He's like, well, it's for this content. Why would we increase the item level for world bosses? We've never done that with any previous stuff we've ever done. Once we move off that map and we're doing something new, we don't go back and increase the item level for old world bosses. It just isn't how it works. But the way he answers it, it's that way where inside he like wants to slap the person that asks that question. But it's okay for them to not increase it, because you shouldn't be doing those world bosses and old stuff. If it's for item level things, you should be doing current stuff, because that's where it's at. You should be on Argus, not on Broken Shore, dealing with that kind of stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then one for you, Rem. They did ask about the Sylvanas and Greymane storyline. Obviously, we had to divert a little bit because right now the focus is on Argus, and with us taking the fight to the Legion and fighting along the armies of the light to take back the planet Argus, we will be getting back to that story before the end of the expansion. So,
really?
Yep.
Yeah, after Stormheim is kind of like, oh, okay.
Yep, he said we had to
Kind of this
divert.
big thing going on. All of a sudden, oh, I know we have a
Yeah,
main
there was
effect-
like this internal like war brewing, and then nothing.
Yeah, we're in a cold war right now. It's all good.
Then they talked. Somebody asked about broken shore buildings, if they'll be up at all, like if they'll all be ever present, and he just said he doesn't feel like that's ever going to be a thing.
Well, not that, but he did mention. I feel like I don't know if it was a while ago or during that Q&A where he was saying we might think about increasing at least reducing the amount of supplies.
They've
needed
already
to
done that.
build it. Okay.
Yeah, they've
Well,
already
I mean,
done that.
more so though, but I mean.
Yeah, it completes relatively quickly now. I don't know if you've noticed, like that mage tower's up like every other day. They've
Is it?
they've
Okay, cool.
reduced the amount of supplies that are needed, and they're going to continue to look at it as we go further. They might do it again, but after the expansion, there's no need
Yeah.
because
It's like
you can't
Wintergrass.
do the
It's just gonna
mage.
sit there.
There's no purpose or point for you to go back and do that. On alts, maybe if you need broken shore stuff to get your class mount, but it just doesn't make sense to do that. Somebody asked if there was a catch-up mechanic regarding the Netherlight Crucible for alts, and once again Ian's face was like, there's already a catch-up mechanic. Like,
Yeah. Why do they even?
I
acknowledge
don't
this
even know
stuff?
why they allowed this question to even be a thing, but it made me laugh. I love his face when he's trying to be PC, and you know he is just really struggling. Because even as Lore was reading that, I'm just like, who the fuck asked that question?
Has he ever not been PC? I feel like he's
No,
squeaky
because
clean.
it's he probably when he wasn't the senior game director, when that wasn't his job, when he was just developer. You know what I mean? Now he's the guy in charge, so he has to be a little bit more. He has to be better about those things, but. I could not do his job because if somebody asked me a stupid I can't handle stupid questions in the BlizzCon group right now. Like anytime someone asks a stupid question, what are good places to eat around the con? I don't know. Do you fucking Google?
And then you make a post about use the search function. And so everyone was commenting on that post saying, like, "Oh, what's this? What's that? What's that?"
Yeah, I was getting trolled hard, but stupid
By
questions.
the way, my
man.
question was answered. By the way,
There
Thank
are
you.
stupid questions. I know our teacher tells us there's no stupid questions. There really are stupid
Does
questions.
anyone have an extra code for my other account?
Right, Jake.
Aw, poor Apoxis.
Smaller
He deserves
realms, they're
it.
still talking about. They're looking at connecting the smaller realms again, looking at another connection possibility because of that.
Yeah, man, our auction house is dead. Link us up with another server. Jim's got pets to sell. What the?
I make tons of money, so I'm not sure what
Be
auction house.
careful
you're
what you
referring
wish for. We're gonna end up with.
You sell a lot of
Midgard.
pets, do you?
I do actually sell quite a bit of pets. Thank you.
I need a screenshot of the next pet you sell.
I just sold a pet for 9K.
Hashtag fake news.
I really
I
did
believe
just
you.
sell a
No, I
pet for
believe you.
9K.
I
Jared
believe-
Banks, what is she gonna do with all the left sharks and cinder pups I
Oh,
put in there?
God.
You guys need to stop sending them and stop putting them in the guild bank. Enough is enough,
So,
guys.
listen, they asked if we were going to get flying on Argus. Guys, we're not getting flying on Argus. It's not happening. There's no
I'm quitting the
flying on
game.
Argus. People
quit.
said that. Here's the thing.
I quit.
Prior expansions, we have had zones that there's no flying. Timeless Isle, Isle of Thunder. It's never going to happen. The sheer mechanics of science, guys. Science.
Burn
The
them.
planet is broken. How could you fly? We're lucky we even have gravity. Jim, gravity?
How
what
does
is
it exist? You can't fly there.
Yeah, there's not going to be
okay,
flying.
so on that note, you just or doesn't make sense because you have Outlands.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, the planet's literally broken into pieces. Like, it's in the universe broken.
Oh, I
That's
see
not
what
my
you're.
responsibility. I'm just telling you. He said it was the nature of the disconnected
That's the first place
zones.
you learn to fly.
He
okay?
said it doesn't make sense from an immersion perspective for them to allow flying. So no, they'll never be flying, no matter how many of you guys get on the forums and bitch and say you want your money back because you can't have flying in fucking Argus. Okay?
I don't care about flying on Argus, but I would love to fly up and be able to actually see.
No, I really do care about flying in Argus because I get lost so much because I don't understand it. You think you're up here and you're really down here.
No, I have it down to science now.
Well, like I'll be running to what I think is going to be like a porter, and then I run off, and I'm like, oh, super not what I thought that was going to be, but okay. So yeah.
There's 3 different paths to our Varga. Very quick.
Well, and nobody has time like you do to sit and poke around about that stuff.
Don't do it. Encourage him to
And
make
I
a
have
video guide.
One thing I did think that was cool. They asked him if there's anything that they pruned that they regret removing. And Ian did say we removed a lot of utility from classes, and we wish we hadn't done that. So they are.
Stop the prune.
So the good news is they're going to be adding a lot of that stuff back. One of the things, the Shroud of Concealment for rogues that they took. Hi, you're a rogue. Can we please have Shroud of Concealment? How they gave that back, and they thought it was cool that they got to see it in the MDI for the last week's MDI, where they found it to be really useful in the dungeons. So I think that's nice that they can admit, hey, maybe you shouldn't remove stuff that makes a class a class. And
Shadow Priest used to be all about utility too. So I mean, yeah.
So he did say that utility in general is something that they're looking at giving back to the classes. So I'm assuming we'll probably see something in the next expansion that's kind of fixing some of the things that they thought that they were improving, but in fact broke in Legion. And last but certainly not least on the important list is my favorite question that gets asked every single Q&A. Why can't we have prestige account wide? Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to break this down in the most
how was that again?
Easy, simple, understanding manner. If you main an arms warrior and you have all your prestige on the skill it takes to be an arms warrior in PvP, then you go to your destruction warlock and you have a different set of skills to be good at PvP on a different class and spec. Why should you get prestige rewards on a class that you didn't earn, showcasing your skill in PvP? Guys, every time this Q&A happens, they ask him this question, and if it was me, I would refuse to even answer this question after the 20 fucking times that I have said it. If me on my Destruction Warlock, do I think it would be fair if I went on my Rogue, who I don't know how to PvP on, and got all of the same accolades that I get on Bell for my skill, on a Rogue that I don't know how to play, other players see the banner Rogue? Guess what? It's a fucking lie, because I'm not, because it's account bound. That's why it's not account bound. People, stop asking. Really seriously, this question, I agree with more things being account bound, right? Like, I'm on that train, guys, me and you. But when it comes to something like PvP where it's skill based per class per spec, it doesn't make sense that it would be account bound, guys.
Well, they've nerfed it to make it easier.
But it doesn't, even then, it just, it is the most ridiculous question when people ask that. I don't like to use the term triggered, but I legit don't understand why people, and somebody said in the chat, it's not fun to PvP because prestige isn't account bound. Huh? What does prestige have to do with PvP whatsoever, outside of it's just some extra shit that Blizzard gave you to do so you'd shut the fuck up about it?
On that note, I have the Vicious Steed on my level 20 alt, so obviously they're on their way on doing that kind of stuff. So
what do you mean?
The Vicious saddles, I have the Vicious War Saber. It used to not be account bound. I now can ride it on every one of my tunes.
Since when?
That's the PvP mount, right?
I told you that a while ago, actually.
Didn't you check the note?
I don't ever listen to what you say.
You should. You would have known that.
But I just think something like prestige, these are things that you're earning, and you're earning for doing the PvP content. It just wouldn't make sense for you to do it on a class you don't know anything about PvP on, or maybe you're fresh to PvP on. It just
and on that note, I am 5th level prestige, and I ask you, what is the EFC?
I know you're trolling me right now, but I feel like
Don't fall for it.
Right. And that actually, thank you. In that troll, you are exactly right. Because if you are on a class that you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't get anything for that. You should have to put in the work on that class PvP-wise. Please don't be 5 levels into prestige, come to me and ask me what the fucking EFC is, guys, because I'm going to lose my mind. It's one thing if you are new and you're seriously asking genuine questions about PvP because you don't know, but don't come to me bragging that you are you're on your 5th prestige and how awesome you are at PvP, and you don't know what an EFC is when I call out strategy for you to go with the flag, to go with the team that is killing the flag carrier. He knew that was gonna, he knew what that was gonna do. Guys, seriously, stop asking Ian if prestige is going to be account wide. Not for nothing, whenever someone says that, I always sing the prestige worldwide theme song in my head.
Well, anyway. But you mentioned it earlier. It's his fault for allowing that question to get through. That's not.
I agree. And every Q&A, they ask him, and every Q&A, he's like, "No, we're not doing it."
Or might be trolling him, maybe.
Well,
But even then, it was
maybe they feel like they need to keep explaining the reasons why.
Maybe.
I just, like I said, I'm all for ease of use, and I'm all for, and even Ian said, we want to make things alt friendly. It just doesn't make sense. Because it would be a lie, basically.
them
Like on
letting
your
that
other
question-
tune, it would be a lie. On the tune
Them-
that you don't have that on, that that you didn't earn on your own, people would think you were an amazing sub-rogue when really you're not, because that's not your main.
that subject getting through on their Q&A is the same thing as us talking about it for 10 minutes. Just say.
Well, I wanted people to understand that
just
that
playing.
question is dumb and for people to stop asking that
is.
question. And I wanted to know, like, am I the only one that feels that way? Question mark?
It's not. It's so easy to prestige. It's not even anything to
Yeah,
cry
it's
about.
like nothing.
I'm unsubbing.
Turn around.
People get so crazy about their games.
I'm going to be really honest, guys. I was one of the first people that was really excited about this prestige thing because I thought how cool it was going to be, but I really think it ruined PvP.
No,
I hate to say
my
that. I
God,
know.
it didn't ruin.
I know. I really hate to say that. I really do. I don't want to say that it ruined PvP, but I really think that I don't know. I don't like
In
what
terms
it.
of
I
the
don't like
point
what
of
it did to PvP.
It went laterally. It didn't go
Yeah, I don't like what it did to
forward. It didn't
So.
make it. It didn't entice me to farm like I used to.
It's not even. But you don't have to. If you just casually PvP on your player, you're
PvP.
gonna prestige.
That's why I was annoyed by it, because
Yeah, you're just saying, just give them the talents and
they
and put
made
up
you
some
work
better
really
things.
really hard for it in the very beginning, and then they pandered, and I felt like it just took the fun out of anything. It's just like give everybody a fucking participation ribbon.
We might as well call them nihilist prestige.
But
Doesn't
here's
matter.
the thing, like, participation awards are the reasons people in this fucking world feel entitled, because they get awards when they're younger because they showed up even though they showed up wrong or late, or the answer was wrong, or they didn't win, because we tell people that you don't have to win, you just have to play. No, you have to win, guys. If you're not winning, you're losing, and nobody wants to be a loser.
If you ain't
Like,
first-
I'm just saying, like, Ricky Bobby, that's like life advice. He knows, like, you have to be.
You're not cool.
Nobody wants to go home the loser. So when people tell their kids or whatever that losing, it's okay as long as you tried hard. No, it's not okay. Daddy wants a winner. He doesn't want a loser for a child. Okay? I'm just kidding.
So many people are thinking about their kids right now.
I know, they're like,
"Yeah."
wow, she's such a bitch. No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding about that. But people
Are you?
just pandering and making things easy because, oh god, we have to work really hard for prestige, because that's really what happened at the beginning of the expansion. Everybody cried about it, and Blizzard pandered because fuck it, right? Why bother? Just fuck it. So yeah, Daddy doesn't like a loser, he likes a winner. Okay, so sprinkles are for winners, they're not for people that show up. Okay,
I don't like the icing I got for our band.
we're too afraid as a people to we're too afraid as a people to tell our children to root for winning. Like, we tell them just to try their best. I'm that kind of mom that's like, listen, I'm gonna need you to win, because if you embarrass me today because you came in last, we're gonna fight about it. I'm not gonna be that mom that's like, it's okay, honey. But it is okay for them to lose. I want them to push themselves to not just show up and give.
And not to be okay with losing, but to try the
Yes,
hardest.
don't be
And-
okay with losing, because not being okay with losing is how you win. Anyway.
I just decided I'm unsubbing because of Muse. I'm going to the forums right now.
Hey, bye.
Can I be on the show still? I'm resubscribing right now.
No. So, Jimma, what you
Yes.
got for me in the pet battle world, sir?
I got a lot. I want to talk about my little original journey, but I also want to talk about things on the show that I said I'd do and I didn't do. Now, some of you are
Isn't
new.
that moment where you have like a confession?
No, I'm not going to make everyone think. Yeah, right.
Okay.
And it's also not a segment where people are going to wonder if Jim's depressed and he's going to make it. So I'm good.
I don't want
How's-
anybody to message me and
Yeah,
ask
right,
if you're
right.
in
No, no.
crisis.
Things are good. Things have been good,
Someone
actually. for
said,
a long
is
time.
Jimma in crisis? No, he's not in crisis.
I was trying to have a moment like 2 months ago where I was just talking, and it just really sounded like I was depressed and
He
not
said
going
it-
through.
I've never even heard that term before. Is Jimma in crisis? I'm like, I don't know what in crisis even means to ask.
Jim's
think
doing
he's
good.
just out-
Thank you for your concern.
I feel like Jimma's
appreciate
just
you.
out of weed.
You have
really.
preached over.
I really didn't know what angle I was going for that week. I really didn't. You know, it was just
I have
bad.
tears in my eyes.
Yeah, it was because I knew it came off wrong too, and then when you told me you got feedback, I'm like, I really screwed up.
People
he
were
was
just
thank-
genuinely worried for you. Like
Right,
they were
right.
gonna send you 25 cents a day.
Right. So Jim could eat a Thanksgiving dinner on podcast night. I didn't eat a dinner, right? I went to Rotten Ronnie's today. It wasn't good. But what I wanted to get to was just something that probably no one even remembered. I said I was going to buy the Celestial Calf because I'm Jimma Banks. And I really had enough gold to do it on the Horde side. I'm a little bit shy on the Alliance side. Got about 700K. And I was just over that million. And I kept visiting that goofy little trainer. I forget what his name is right now, but he's in Dal and he sells you the Celestial Calf for 1 million gold. And he just didn't show up. And I ended up buying about 50.
Isn't he like a goblin?
It's like a little. It's right there.
It's a little short person. I know that.
Little midget. Yeah, he's just there. If he's not, you can't buy it. So I ended up just buying about 50 to 80K worth of pets, and it's put me under. So I'm still about 80K shy on the Horde side. So I would like to do that. Jimma Banks waste 1 million gold on a Celestial Calf for one pet, but that was just nonsense. We don't care. But I just wanted to talk about my first Pokemon journey. Excuse me, my first pet battle journey. Excuse me, and just kind of like how it was before. Some of you listening remember pet battles when it first came out, and some of you started it a little bit after, and it's become a little easier. You could call it pandering. It's okay. It's in a good spot right now. But when you didn't have ultimate battle training stones, and you couldn't just instantly have a level 1 pet. So you actually had to just like level up from scratch. You had to pick a pet or pets, make a team, and kind of slowly go through all the master tamers, right? So,
the Mad Merchant.
Mad
Rem
Merchant.
put in chat the Mad
something.
Merchant. It's a gnome, not a goblin.
I appreciate
I
that,
was
Rem.
wrong.
Salute.
Thank you, Rem.
It's okay. I appreciate that. Mad Merchant just would not show up, so I said, forget him. And and I used to do some video guides, and a lot of people would ask because they were either phasing out or they just weren't getting great progress in this pet battle journey, right? So, I made a video and I picked my first pet, and I always said not to bring up Pokemon, but I referred to it as picking your Pikachu, because you literally picked a pet and you had to slowly level it and go through all these different tamers, master tamers, and I always, some people would try to focus and make this whole team and have this team for leveling up. But I always said, pick that first pet, and you'd go through your journey, and you could just capture wild pets to fight with your main pet and defeat all these master tamers. And my first pet was the Clockwork Gnome. I did put a little bit of thought into it. I didn't do like crazy amounts of research, but once I saw that ability, Build Turret, thought it was really cool. If you didn't know, it just puts the turret on the ground. It stays for 4 rounds, hits your enemy 3 times, and at some point you can have 2 turrets going on at the same time. These guys are distracting me.
No, because you're like, I don't bring up Pokemon on the show, and then your whole thing was relating to Pokemon.
Well,
so me and Rem
at the start.
and Rem were laughing because you're like, well, I don't talk about it on the show, but then you're like, it's like my Pikachu. They were like,
well, I used it as an example because for those that don't know, I guess I didn't really explain why I said that. Was the character in Pokemon had his Pikachu and he stayed focused. It was like his main guy, his little buddy. So I always gave that as advice.
Are you
for
referring
people.
to Ash then?
Ash Ketchum, right? Got to catch them all. Salute. But I use that reference because like my Clockwork Gnome was my Pikachu, and I would put all experience gained into that one pet. And a lot of people wasted some time, and it was okay. It wasn't that it was a waste, but people would kind of phase out. You wanted to, and the reason why I said get wild pets, because you could really only catch wild pets close to your highest level pet, which would be your Clockwork Gnome in this example, right? And you would start off, I would always start with my wild pets, let them die, and then finish off the fight with my Clockwork Gnome. So we got all of the experience. So I had a lot of fun in the early days. Clockwork Gnome was great and actually a very good pet, and that served me well on my journey defeating all the master tamers. And I didn't really get stuck until Northrend. Once I got to Northrend, this fool had all these Dragonkin pets, and I didn't know how to handle it. It was where his name, it's Okrut. There it is. Okrut, Dragon Waste, and Dragon Blight. And he just had this team of dragons, and I couldn't get by him, so I had to do a little research. What's strong against Dragonkin pets? Which humanoid pet am I going to pick? So that was the first or the second pet that I really focused on joining my team, was a humanoid to defeat that, I picked a feral vermling. That was the pet you got at 250 collected pets, and not really a great pet. It's nothing I really use today, but one of my first so many 25. So although I did enjoy the original journey, and sometimes we say, Blizzard panders to make things easier, I'm not mad at the way that pet battles are today. So I guess I kind of wanted to just discuss the early days in Mists of Pandaria to say it was a struggle to get those first couple pets to level 25. But I do like what Blizzard's done, because they had to encourage more players to do pet battles, and you're not going to do that by making things difficult or so much in the unknown. So I really do like what Blizzard's done in changing things slightly, giving us a few things like the ultimate battle training stones. We got a shoulder enchant this expansion that gives us satchels that give us lesser pet treats, which gives us more experience gained while power leveling pets. And, pet charms, of course, that can just buy a lot of extra things as far as leveling your pets or making pets rare or slowly leveling them. So even though pet battles is a basic concept, there's a lot to it in the sense of like the effort that Blizzard has put into it. So I've always saluted them for that. I know it's not for everyone. So I'm excited we're getting the pet battle bonus event this week. I will be doing probably leveling pets every single day. Just because I've got so many new pets from them adding like 100 in the last couple months, right? So again, salute. Thank you for joining me. Not the greatest segment. Kind of wanted to give you an insight of my original journey. And thank you for joining us this week.
I'm glad you talked about your Pallet Town escapade.
Right?
I don't think it was a terrible segment.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It was such an important guide in a way to people starting off 2 years ago, not as relevant now. Yeah. Right? We got any lore master?
I don't know. He was a little salty about his show notes.
Oh, I was just surprised he actually got in there
I
this
wish
week.
I would have recorded pre-show for you guys. Rem was having a complete fucking meltdown because he couldn't access the notes because we were doing on Google
Drive was
and
having connection with auto ad block.
Yeah, Rem was having like a complete meltdown. It was quite funny to watch.
Well, because it usually never.
I like watching him when he's in turmoil, and like Jimma's super concerned, right? Because he's the nice Canadian where he's really concerned and he's like, just like totally loving everyone. And he, like,
I was gonna say,
when the nerd at school drops his papers, Jim is the one that's like, oh hey, let me help you.
He's the one that picks it up.
And Sam's the one that walks up and kicks your book farther down the hall.
I would never do that.
I don't know. In grade 10, there was a game we always tried to knock the binders out, and if it got down, you were getting it kicked over. So.
Oh, that's mean. Yeah, but he was like, I was laughing because I thought it was funny, and then Jim was like actually concerned.
Well, I was going to say, don't talk about stuff pre-show. That's secret stuff. But you're right. He had this look in his eye that he was scared and worried at the same time. So it was kind of funny, actually. But I was concerned for him.
Just kidding. I made it really weird, and I didn't mean to. Rem, let's talk about Antorus, yes?
Let's. So... we have
spoiler free on dialogue though, yeah?
Yes. No, that was it
slipped through the cracks, guys. It was an accident. We didn't realize it was spoilery.
Unintentional, kind of implied.
Yeah.
I almost unsubbed to the channel, but thank you for that.
Son of a bitch.
But we're gonna go over a quick couple of them, and then I'm gonna do a little something afterwards. Nothing
like
huge.
a special dance.
No,
I hope so. No,
but it's in my show notes. So, so the portal keeper Hazabel. This is someone that is pretty important in terms of the Burning Legion. She is the person that's like, oh hey, there's this world, everyone pile up, we're gonna portal you there, wreck shit pretty much. And so she is a very key part of Antorus and keeping it running, and just another cog in the machine. But she's a lot like a Heimdall, and I like to use analogies because it's a little easier to understand like the importance of it. She's a Heimdall of Greek mythology. She is kind of like she is the keeper of the Bifrost, all things connecting. So if there is a world that needs to be taken down or needs reinforcements, she is the person to go through. And with us being able to take her down and us plowing through her through our way into Antorus, it's just another way of us showing our power up against the Burning Legion. And then we have the Antoran High Command, and these are a set of 3 people. They are part of the original Eridar, when Sargeras came and persuaded all of them to join him. These were some of the people that were already in charge of the defense of Argus. They are Admiral Sverax. I'm gonna butcher these because I haven't actually practiced these. Chief Engineer Ishkar and General Erodus. And so, again, these are the people that were in charge of the defense and the military of Argus before Sargeras transformed all into Eridar. And well, Eridar is Eridar. But anyways, Admiral Servax is like what it says, the admiral. She is in charge of the fleet, pretty much the navy, not the navy because there's no water. But anyway, and then you have Chief Engineer Ishkar. He is in charge of pretty much pyrotechnics, explosions. He is the mastermind of the pretty much the building the defenses. Whereas General Erodus is going to be commanding reinforcements. He is going to be bringing in other forces to bring the battle into their favor. And so it just shows another way of all the power that they've held and the power that we are going to be going up against. And someone that I mentioned before, not really in depth, but with the Garathi Worldbreaker, the pretty much the bane of the Fel Reavers. He is the Fel Reaver on steroids, pretty much. Ken Garath is the creator of all the is it machinations or just machines?
Pretty sure it's machinations.
Okay. But he isn't pretty much the brains and the brawn, not the brawn, but the putting forth the effort into making all these machines for the Burning Legion. All the Fel Reavers, all the cannons you can think of, Ken Garoth is the mastermind behind all that, and he is, like I said before, I don't know if you recall, but he is like the Hephaestus of the Burning Legion. He is creating all this stuff. He is the bad guy. But he will be having a plethora of machines and other constructions in his what's the word, in his hand, pretty much in the fight coming forward. And it'll be very interesting seeing all the different things that he's come up with. He's got 3 different other Fel Reavers that have different effects, and we'll see a little bit more of that in the coming months. Oh god, I lost my stuff. Sorry. But yeah, so with Antorus, there's a little bit of that, and then we'll talk about because Arinar the Lifebinder is going to be a very interesting thing, because with them retconning the fact that the Pantheon is no longer in the Keepers, Arinar the Lifebinder somehow is away in her own little realm, and you have the other 4 Pantheon taken captive by the Coven of the Shavara. They are trying to manipulate them and corrupt them into becoming pawns of Sargeras, how Agrimar is at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to dig a little bit into Arinar and what they actually decided to do with the spirits of the Pantheon, and the fact that they, like I said, they're not coming to the Keepers like they originally did for Ulduar. And yeah, it's gonna be. There's a lot of stuff that's changing and not really retconning, but being twisted and distorted from the stuff that they've planned to do maybe 10 years ago. Whereas stuff changes, like for instance, when they were planning the stuff for Garrosh, he was supposed to have a little more of a heroic ending instead of this. But he's more of a like a petty downfall. Like he wasn't like as dangerous as they probably meant him to be. But because of the Harvest Festival that we just had, and the fact that they didn't really add anything to it, I want to talk about the people that we have lost in Legion. For instance, the opening cinematic for Broken Shore, we lost Varian, which honestly, it didn't bring a tear to my eye, but it hits you right in the feels, because this is someone that you, in a fictional world, you stood behind him as your king, and it hits you in the heart. And Kojim?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Did they show that video at BlizzCon last year? Like, was that one of the big cinematics we saw? I think it
I
was.
don't remember.
But I could feel from the crowd, it was very, someone had passed, like you said, he died. I don't think that was the clip at BlizzCon, actually. I apologize. Keep going.
Oh no, I think they did just the it wasn't that one, but they did something where it's like, whoa.
It felt like, yeah, the crowd was into it emotionally, but it's maybe
Yeah.
similar to what you're saying with Felwyn, right?
When Varian, when he jumps off the ship and he one-shots the Fel Reaver, it's like, holy shit, he might be able to hold his own for a little bit for us to help him or something. Like, I didn't expect him to get out, but I didn't know that he was going to die then and there. And I have to pay homage to the Horde and the fact that we lost Vol'jin. When I played Horde, Vol'jin was one of my favorite people during Warcraft 3, for instance. His father, I believe it's Zul'jin, was the leader of the Darkspear beforehand, and he died before it became the Horde. They came into the Horde, but Vol'jin was a very good embodiment and symbol of what the Horde should be and was, because he is loyal, he is a ferocious warrior, he embodies what the Horde was, and to lose him is kind of like a kick in the nuts to the Horde, because we've all been kicked around a lot, but the Horde's been short-handed a little bit the past couple of expansions. But a big deal with Vol'jin, losing out on him. And Tyrion Fordring, who of those are not really well known on who he is. He was the leader of the Silver Hand. He was the one that joined the Argent Crusade and their Silver Hand to take on the Lich King. And he is the one that pretty much saved our lives, because he called upon the light and used his one life-saving wish, not only wish, but blessing, to shatter Frostmourne, rupture the souls, raise us, kill the Lich King. And we see how that affected him, because when we come into Legion, how he's going up against Crassus, when he was burning him alive and all that. And you find out that he's this powerful paladin. He can calm the light, and it almost seems like the light abandoned him, but in fact it was almost rewarding him by giving him peace in a weird way, because he is such a devout paladin. He was a devout to light. And one of the biggest things that people cried about, and one of the biggest losses, was Ysera. And you have that at the end of the Val'sharah, where or she becomes corrupted by Xavius and is killed by us, because if we didn't, then she would wreak havoc. And it shows a lot of the pain that we have gone through Legion, and the stories that will be unfolding in future generations, but general future expansions and stories, because if they're willing to take out some heavy hitters in the story, such as Ysera, Varian, Vol'jin, Tyrion, we're going to see a lot more dark and good stories coming up in the next expansion, but we lost obviously so many people through Legion, but those 4 are some of the biggest hits in terms of emotions and pivotal characters that we lost. And I just, yeah.
Don't tear up.
I was pretty sad when I killed a sewer roach in Dalaran. That was like a loss I deeply felt when I killed that critter. The sewer roach in Dalaran sewers. It hurt my feelings to actually kill that critter. So I understand what you're saying about deep losses in the storyline. Because that sewer roach in Dalaran, like, it really hurt my feelings to have to...
Pepperoni sewer roach.
Yeah, it was super sad. I cried more this expansion with deaths than I have ever... I don't think I ever have previously because I was really attached. I felt... I don't know if more emotional or I was more emotional because of the attachment.
Probably.
I cried at BlizzCon when we got the Varian video. I was in tears.
It was okay. So it was at BlizzCon. Okay.
Oh, I cried like a baby. I have no shame there.
Well, I kind of brought it up during his segment, and then I thought, okay, no.
Yeah, I couldn't recall which video it was.
But when you could feel it in the crowd, it was like a big deal. And like you said, you're attached to it, right? But good storylines. That's kind of good when they just kill people off because it's people.
You know, it's healthy, but I mean, it's kind of like. Wow.
Those were big dogs.
But we needed to, though, right, Rem? Because in order, like, we're paving the way for a new generation, especially with Anduin, right? Like, whatever comes his way with people that are leading by his side, right? Because it's never just going to be Anduin. There's a whole plethora of races and people across Azeroth and even the cosmos that are involved in what we're doing. But I think... as sad as it is, I still maintain that it's necessary because we're never going to love Anduin if Rin is still alive. Like, we're always going to think Anduin's a little bitch as long as his dad is alive because there isn't room for 2 in that love affair of characters. You have to just kind of have one that you can follow and let them lead you. So I'm wondering who we're going to see by Anduin's side when all is said and done. When he's like, because right now, where is Anduin? Why we're on Argus? Where the fuck's Anduin? Why we're on Argus?
See, that's what really bugs me about right now is... you have Anduin becoming who he needs to be.
But where is he? Why we're fighting on Argus?
That's what I'm saying. You're in that cinematic and he takes up Varian's sword and it starts to show light with the light instead of the ferocity of the red that Varian had because he's low gosh. Long story short, he had what's the word? Not Jesus Christ.
Bipolar.
He was.
He's not me.
No, he had multiple personality syndrome. Technically, pretty much, because he had to remove himself, kind of like taking out of his humanity.
Oh, okay. Well, I get that makes sense. So he had several different versions of himself.
Yes. So, for instance, when he was the king, he was himself. But for instance, when he used to be in a gladiator ring, he had to turn that side of him off, and just pretty much
happens to me when I'm in the gladiator ring also. So we're clear. So now I asked the question, where the fuck's Anduin? Because if I'm going to Argus and we're taking the fight to the Burning Legion, where the hell is my king at? You're not with me.
That's what I was gonna say. Is
however, maybe there's a reason for that.
There better be.
It's not like a forgetfulness. It's more of a...
No, but I'm kind of annoyed. There better be a good fucking reason. Like, you better come in at the very end of this expansion with guns a-blazing and blow some shit up. Like, if you're gonna not be there for us to go and fight the shit that's on Argus, you better come in at the very end, riding whatever weird weapon of choice, and you better blow everything up and apologize for putting us through the shit we went through on Argus.
And it might be what I was trying to say, too, is because we're out on Argus, and even though 5 years on Argus is like 1 year on Azeroth, story-wise, we don't have communications back and forth at the moment.
We keep portaling back to Dalaran every single
That's
day.
What I'm saying. Mechanic wise, we can go back to Dalaran whenever, but I mean story wise, we are on the Zenithar. We are there. Our full attention is on Argus at the moment.
Like, there's no portal back and forth if we were doing real time. Like, if we were living this in real life, there would be no portal to go back to Dalaran for you to go to your class order hall. You would be
So it very well will be that either Anduin is training or overseeing stuff out there, or he's in trouble.
It was so funny when they played that video of Varian dying.
Well, we would hear
Would we?
if he was in trouble. There would be some type of rumblings. The king doesn't get, he's not in trouble and we don't hear anything about it.
Again,
They have
it hasn't been that-
mailboxes on the Vindicar. We would have gotten a fax, okay?
It hasn't been that long since we've been there, though. Something could have happened. You want to put a spoiler tag really quick, then?
No. Yes. Maybe.
Guys, spoiler, so for like the next minute, don't listen. Turn it off, fast forward, take your headphones off. Picture me sitting there eating tacos with you. Do whatever weird shit you do, but there's a spoilery thing that's going to be said, and I don't know what
Could have
that
just
spoiler
said
is.
earmuffs.
Not everybody.
I know. I'm playing.
But okay, so there was a comic that was released, and it talks about Anduin as the king is right now, and he's in a meeting. We're not a meeting, but he's at like a war table, and someone walks in and goes, "So and so, blah blah blah," and he goes, "Okay," and then all of a sudden there's a flash of light, and this dreadlord pops out of the skin and goes to attack Anduin. And Anduin takes a sword, uses the light, and pins him against the wall like a badass. And then he sends out his other guys to say, "Hey, make sure he's working alone." And then he says, "Tell me everything that you know," to the dreadlord. And then it cuts. I remember the exact time frame it says, but it goes. It's like years past, and it's very, 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 very old Anduin sitting in. It looks like the Exodar, and you have an even older, if that's possible, Velen standing next to him, and he says, "We're ready." And Anduin goes, "This is the only chance we're gonna take. We're gonna have, so we're gonna take it. And my father would want this." And then it says, "To be continued." So that's what I'm saying. He's in trouble. So we'll see.
Hold the phone. What comic are you talking about that I haven't seen? Is this that dark? Is this the stuff that was released with Terrellian and Illyria?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I haven't listened to that. The latest audio drama installation thing. I haven't.
This was something fairly recent.
This is a Blizzard sanctioned comic, you're saying?
Yeah.
How did I miss that on my being hip on all the things? Guys, I've had a lot going on. I guess it's not abnormal that I would miss that. Did you?
I'd have to find it, but yeah, spoiler, good.
Yeah, can you send me that though? Can you find it while we're?
I'll find it. Yeah.
Good segment, Rem.
Right?
I think it was a good segment. It's always good when I am paying attention. People don't think I pay attention. Literally, guys, when it's usually Rem's segment, because it's the end of the show, I'm usually messaging my husband asking him to put the clothes in the dryer, because I put the clothes in the dryer before the show. So when I message my husband, we have iPhones, and he likes to turn his read receipt off so that I don't know when he looks at the message, because he likes to pretend like he didn't get the text message. So I go into his phone and I turn read receipt on. So I thought it was really weird because I heard him go put the clothes in the dryer, but it showed delivered. What he did is he looked at his phone and didn't open the text message to show me that he read it, and he went and did it. So I messaged him and I'm like, "It's okay, you don't have to respond to me. I'll just sit here. Thanks. Like, cool, you don't got to respond to me." So then he was like, "This is why I have read receipt. I don't like read receipt on." And like, I know you looked at the phone. You don't have to have read receipt on or off. I know you looked at the phone and then put it back in your pocket because you didn't want to respond.
I wonder if I can turn that off on my phone.
All he had to say is, "Hey, gotcha." A thumbs up, a fucking middle finger, something. You don't have to be a dick and not read it and not respond to it. Anyway, so that's why I was like, partially.
He's in offline mode of the battle tag.
He's down there he's
that
playing
too.
Call of Duty or some weird shit. I think he's killing zombies.
Not Warcraft?
No, he took a week off from Warcraft, and I think he got a little bit overwhelmed with the Legion stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But he was just talking about it the other day on how overwhelming when you haven't played in a really long time, and I think he's just
You can
was
burn
over.
yourself out if you go.
We're gonna lose him tomorrow anyway because it's the Halloween stuff for Overwatch.
I'm unsubbing.
Yeah, he loves the Halloween stuff for Overwatch. So,
Yeah,
guys, for Belle's bites, guess what? Belle doesn't have any bites. You want to know why Belle doesn't have any bites? Because Belle is tired. I am exhausted. However, in lieu of no Belle's bites, I am going to play the Con Before the Storm bumper. 99% of you, it's not going to really matter because I think the bulk of our listeners probably don't go to BlizzCon. But I'm going to play the bumper anyway for those of you that do and that are going to Con Before the Storm. I'm doing I think it's the World of Podcast bumper. I'm not really sure what it is. I just know that it's my voice and I recorded it. But it's for Con Before the Storm. I promised I would play the bumper. So I am going to play the bumper real quick. It's like 30 seconds long. And then we will get into our weeks in World of Warcraft. So I'm going to mute these guys real quick. I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to play this bumper. And we'll be, right back, here for weirdness. The storm known as BlizzCon is almost upon us, and that means once again it's time for podcasters, community personalities, and fans to come together for one of the largest gatherings created by fans for fans. It's Con Before the Storm featuring the 5th annual World of Podcast. It's shaping up to be our largest World of Podcast yet, with participants from over 50 podcasts and additional content being produced before and after the big party at the Anaheim Hilton on November 2nd. Even if you can't join us in Anaheim, we do invite you to check out the shows on Alpha Geek Radio or at twitch.tv/ConBeforeStorm. Can't listen to us live? We have you covered with podcast versions of our content available for download on demand via our World of Podcast show feed on Google Music and Apple Podcasts. For complete information, show schedule, and much, much more, be sure to check out ConBeforeStorm.com, and also don't forget to follow us on Twitter at ConBeforeStorm and at World of Podcasts. You guys couldn't see because when I swapped to the bumper, these guys were doing this weird dance that oddly matched up with the music for the Con Before the Storm bumper. So Ro and Seraphis, it's their music, or I don't know where they got the music, but it does sound like a little bit like porn music. So you, ironically enough, had the people been watching, been able to see you guys, like your body movements did completely match up with the music.
The beat, this little head bob. Yeah.
So if you guys are going Thursday, Con Before the Storm, World of Podcasts, make sure you come and see me. I'll be emceeing the event. These boys will be here with me doing whatever weird shit we do, probably drinking beer in between the shows. And then, of course, DitchCon on Wednesday. So with that being said, Jim, what did you do this week in the World of Warcraft?
I was the most active on my mobile app, not because I wasn't playing, but I just really focused on making sure I was getting a lot of the chunks of artifact power from my phone when I wasn't playing. But while I was playing, I leveled a lot of pets, the old-fashioned way. Is it the old-fashioned way? Without the crazy amounts of XP before the bonus event. So I'm just trying to get my pets up there. For the longest time, I just didn't care about having all my pets at 25 and all of them at rare, but as I'm climbing the ranks on the server and the website of warcraftpets.com.
What is your rank on the server, by the way?
On the server, I'm 16th, but if we were talking just total pets, I'm like top 10. People have out-leveled my pets, and I...
How does the ranks work?
So it works by a combination of total pets, your average pet level, which would just determine on how many you have at 25, or basically your average pet level based on all your pets. How many of them are rare, common, uncommon, poor quality is the other one. And then it just gives you an overall pet score. So if we went just on pet collection, I'd be top 10. There's some serious collectors out there, and there's some other ones, but just some of the people with less pets than me are more efficient at leveling and making sure all their pets are rare.
Do they do a player versus player rank?
They don't. That would be cool, and that could definitely spice up pet battles to do some sort of...
I thought you were going to say your marriage, but cool. Got it.
I am taking applications for marriage as well. We do have a lot of lady listeners. I found it a couple weeks ago, so I am single, as you know.
Rem doesn't count as the lady listener.
There was 2, Jimmy Payne.
No, that's what I said. Do not insult. We had a lot of ladies not attack us. They just let us know they are listening and they're enjoying the show. mostly because of Belle, because she's also a strong, independent woman. But we support our women listeners.
She don't
But
know man.
I will be leveling a lot of pets this upcoming week, and I just did a lot of miscellaneous stuff. I did a heroic raid. I jumped in, and it went okay. It was so funny.
I was. Anybody here watched Married with Children?
Yes, like
You know how
a
Al
lot.
Bundy was like president of the No Ma'am Club?
Yeah. Right.
Completely random, but that's what I thought of when you said I was a strong, independent woman. I pictured myself wearing the No Ma'am shirt. Anyway.
Or no man, like leading these women on just
No,
like
the No Ma'am. Like I completely
really?
pictured myself wearing the No Ma'am shirt.
the same shirt. I like it.
This is
I was a
in
big
the
fan
mind
the
of Belle,
show.
guys. It's not normal. Sorry, I DDoSed your.
It is a
segment.
twisted nether. Yes. No, I'm good. It was just a lot of miscellaneous stuff, and I'm sure Rem had a better week in WoW. Oh, I did arena with Rem actually. It was fun.
Oh yeah, we did.
I wasn't
That is
listening on comm, so I had fun while you guys were having fun.
No, it was actually a good day. So
Yeah, it was fun.
The one day I'm not there listening to you guys
that's why
going,
it was a good day.
wow.
He's lying. Don't take that personal, Belle. I like what she did. She had something in her
wrong with your hand?
nose.
I mean,
No, she had something in her nose. She'll cut you. Belle was worried. She was overreacting like I was stealing her best friend.
I drew a mustache on you.
Nice.
but my week in WoW was, it was just as eventful as Jermaine Banks. We did the arenas, and yes, we had a good time. We were picking up randoms, and just.
When you say picking up randoms, is this hookers or?
No,
Low.
Belle?
Hookers and
Neither.
low.
Well, what else am I supposed to think? We were just picking up randoms. Picking up randoms where and doing what
And
with them?
LFG.
Bro.
But yeah, no, it was. I have told myself that I will be calmer in PvP.
Yeah. Okay.
But, this my week in WoW was more of just laid back doing the quests, miscellaneous tasks on the alts, deciding on what I'm actually going to be doing for Antorus in the coming pre-expansion packs, expansions. I'm thinking far ahead while I'm focusing on the current, but it was mostly because this is the first Saturday I haven't worked in a long Saturdays. Made sense, I swear. And so I took advantage of it. I didn't do anything this weekend. Like, I just did miscellaneous tasks and WoW and chilled.
A lot of people play WoW like that, right?
Yeah.
It's funny that you said that because I wasn't really super social this weekend. I didn't do the Zoom thing normally.
You're a busy lady.
But I just didn't feel like being social. There's
Correct.
times when sometimes
I
I just don't want to talk. Like, it's cool we could talk through, Facebook or text, whatever, but sometimes I just don't want to conversate with people. I just want to just watch Netflix or do stuff and whatever, or sometimes I just want to play WoW and not have people in my ear. But
That's fair.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to just completely decompress and not
You don't like
be social.
hearing people eat while
No,
you're...
and I do. I don't mind that at all. Sometimes I like the background noise of everybody talking in Zoom. It's like it's very therapeutic, but there are times when I just don't want to hear anything. I just want to watch something and I want to not...
Yeah, that was my weekend, yeah.
I don't want to have to talk.
It's always having these damn headphones on your...
I don't always want to talk. Like, sometimes I know you guys are like, wow, but Belle, you love to talk. There are a lot of times when I just want to sit in silence and I don't necessarily want to say something. I spend 99% of my time talking.
We know.
From
I have to talk all day, so I don't like talking.
From work to home, like 99% of my time is talking. Sometimes I want to go sit on the potty, not really going to the bathroom, and just play some fucking Candy Crush. I just don't want to have a conversation with anybody. So that...
Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
WoW, I had a really productive week in WoW. I'm getting caught up on my mage stuff since the mage is maxed out now. Doing stuff on Bell, doing stuff on my alts. I got a second legendary on the druid. I don't really know what the legendary is or if it matters, but I did get one, which was what I was trying to do. And I need to get the second legendary still on the shaman, and I need the initial legendary on the mage. But I've just been doing that, just pulling that through. I'm about to get some warlocks together and do the doom ritual so that I can start farming that the demon in there, so that I can see about getting my hidden skin. yeah, so that's pretty much been my focus in game, is doing fun stuff for me. The content that I've been doing for my side projects isn't game related because we're in a little bit of a content drought. So my next projects I'm doing some other stuff that is not necessarily game current content related, except guides, but they're for the classes. But I'm not doing those. The Mythic Raiders are. I don't have to do any of that stuff. Just I have to do all the grunt work.
Nice. What spec are you playing on your druid? Boom Chicken?
Yeah, I'm playing balanced. And then so I think we talked about this the other day. And I wanted to one of the things that I've been wanting to do, which is why I started playing so many alts, is to have a better understanding class to class, role to role, spec to spec. I thought I wanted to be just that person that's just really well rounded with just knowing the ins and outs of the different classes and specs, what their utilities are, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. That's something that I've always wanted to do, but I've always felt really insecure asking those type of questions, or really even just absorbing that information. So one of the things that I'm doing with Method is I'm taking the raiders and I'm curating their information into class guides, updating the ones that we have currently on Method's website and adding specs and classes that we're missing, right? So example, I was working on a Mistweaver today, and really good Mistweaver monk that's given me solid information for this guide that I'm building. I learned some things about Mistweaving that I didn't know about. Obviously, these guys are Mythic Raiders. They're on a different, playing field. But the way that this information was broke down to me completely, I totally understood that there might be some talents that I'm using wrong, because they should be situational. I'm using them as the all-the-time talents when they really shouldn't be. They should be swapped out per boss fight, because the talents are different. Some of the talents are for stacking when you're healing while people are stacked. Others are for healing while people are spread out. So, but what I wanted to say about the whole point of this is I'm learning things about other classes, things that I would not have known, because it's being told to me and I'm having to absorb it in order to be able to spit it back out into a guide. And I'm really, really excited about that. And I'm hoping that this time next year that I'm really well versed on all the classes and specs, so that when we have a new expansion and major changes happen to classes, I can really understand and be able to help you guys out with what exactly does this mean, or those kinds of things, instead of just saying I don't know what this means but I'm telling you guys the information. I've really been putting in a lot of effort, especially the last couple of weeks, with me having to step out of my comfort zone to just really be super knowledgeable in that. So I'm actually pretty excited. But to that end, that is why I've been more focused on the alts than I have been on Belle, because she's good to go. She's got her ahead of the curve. She's very well geared. She's I'm 936, 937 for heroic, which is, Mythic Raiders are 945. Right. I'm not that far behind. She's got almost all I think there's one other legendary that's my best in slot, my second or third best in slot. So I've just been focusing on the alts and just getting to know those classes and specs on a deeper level, outside of just going and doing world quests and pew-pewing, just really kind of understanding and working on my wheelhouse of knowledge. I feel like it's important, especially with what we do here, for us to just really be good at that in our own individual little niches. Like Jimma's got the pets. Rem's got the lore, and normally I have the PvP, but PvP as of late is not what it used to be, so it's not as fun per se to conversate about, because there isn't a whole lot happening with PvP like there used to be, where there was all kinds of stuff to talk about. It hasn't been that way lately, so there hasn't been a lot of PvP stuff that I've been talking about, because it hasn't really been fun for me. And sometimes that is what it is, guys. When it's not fun for you, don't do it. And I'm not going to force myself into that bubble. So instead, I'll swap over to PvE a little bit. And then, as it happens, come back. There's some really good brawls coming up, so be expecting some really good PvP stuff there. But really,
this week's brawl was not too good.
I heard it. You weren't the only one that said Alliance had a struggle.
Oh, yeah.
I only did one game. We won, but
did you? Good. Nice.
Yeah, but I didn't do multiple games, but you were not the first person that I've heard, or I even saw it on Twitter where people were like, if you're Alliance tonight, it's a bad night.
Well, and people, it's sometimes you gotta consider, like, people complain all the time. Like you mentioned some of the complaints. You're like, is this for real? But it does feel a little lopsided from the Horde to the Alliance across the board. So, but I'm glad you're getting all that knowledge, because like those guides, you know,
I hope it helps me with the PvP element.
It will, because you'll recognize abilities faster. Of course, the abilities will change slightly and how they're used, but it's just going to make you all around better Warcraft person.
I want to showcase something that nobody would really expect me to showcase, and it's going to sound really funny, and this is in regards to PvP, and I meant to mention this during my Bell's Bites, but I didn't really have the rest of my Bell's Bites. I had an idea for Bell's Bites, and it didn't happen.
Right.
We'll do it next week, but I did intend to mention. Now, a lot of you are going to be like, wow, all of a sudden, Bell, there's reasons that I've had to use Wowhead, and the reasons that I've had to use Wowhead is because Wowhead and Method are partners, and it just is what it is. This is what you do when you're a professional. You suck it the fuck up and do what you're supposed to do, because that's what we do. Yeah. In doing that, because there's a lot of things I don't really explore on Wowhead's website because I hate their ads. I don't have to deal with their ads because I have a beautiful ad blocker, but they have an excellent PvP guide section that's fairly new. Now, it's not Wowhead that's doing it, it's the PvPers. It's your top ranked, your known PvPers are working with Wowhead, like Trill, who is on, he's Synergy. I don't know that he's like officially signed on forever, but I know that for this upcoming tournament, for them going to BlizzCon, Trill is actually from Limit. He's in Limit Guild, but I think Mez did a guide, but there's these guys are actual PvPers. They're not people that are saying they're PvPers that are doing these guides, but you should check them out. I don't know that they have every class and spec. I just know that there were a couple. I happened to glance because I was getting tool tips for the guide I'm working on. I needed Wowhead's tool tips, but and I happened to glance over and I seen like all this PvP stuff, and I thought, well, okay, that's kind of cool. So I don't really, you guys already know how I feel about ads on Wowhead, and there's a lot of stuff that I dislike about that situation, but that kind of commands a little bit of respect. So I wanted to highlight that. I know some of you are like, wow, I never thought I would hear her say that. Guys, I give respect where it's earned. And from a PvPer who sometimes looks for guides because I struggle with understanding how to beat another class, or maybe, whatever, good information is just that. It's good information. So make sure you check that out. Like I said, I don't know if they have all the guides or all the classes and specs covered for PvP. It might just be situational as they're getting help, but definitely go check it out, because they're starting to showcase more of the viewers versus having people actually write this stuff. And I think that's the better choice there, because you're getting people that actually play. So, and they live that. And I think that's really, I think that's important, because I was telling Rem the other day that I was using their mage guide for their frost mage when I was trying to figure my shit out, and it was a pretty robust, in-depth guide. They have one that's done by a writer at Wowhead, and then they have one that's done by an actual main mage that's a raider that's important. So Icy Veins also has an equally good site that has PvE. I don't think they have PvP though, but Icy Veins does have a really, really good breakdown.
PvP for them is spotty, but yeah, their PvE is on point.
Their PvE stuff's pretty good. So make sure you check both those up. But so
you just
pick
reminded
your jaws
me to...
off the floor from Bell giving Wowhead kudos. But
I thought it was gonna be something crazier, but this is
I thought there's gonna be something crazy.
Shit's gonna hit the fan.
I can't believe you didn't think that was crazy. Aja's gonna lose her shit. Watch, she's gonna message me tomorrow after she watches the show and go, "What?"
Aja's not that easy to, or she's pretty easy to freak out. But we've been through a lot. You did remind me. I just canceled my Skill Capped subscription before it renewed in 3 days. Thank you.
Are they still putting out new stuff?
Yeah, not as much, so it's not worth it for me to pay multiple months. But I got enough use out of it.
Good. They were pretty good once upon a time, man. Though they were the guys, right? That's where Olivia came from. She was skill capped originally.
But at the point that we are now for skill cap, they are like what Tank Spot used to be for PvE. They're starting to roll into the abyss of dying.
They peaked. That's what happens when you peak too soon.
Yep. Yes, it is.
That was awkward. That was actually quite funny. Anyway, moving on. So, with that being said, guys.
Yeah. Don't end it yet. We've been going on 2
we're
hours.
over
Let's
2
go
hours.
3 hours.
We don't need to go on 3 hours, guys. We tired. We tired.
People are gonna unsub.
People are probably gonna unsub.
It was a good show, I think.
I think it was a really good show. I think we gave a lot of good information. I know the beginning was a little not normal. I think we veered off the World of Warcraft land into the BlizzCon land, but that's stuff that's fun and interesting for us. That's
hype.
Yeah, like it's super.
Yeah.
We're ready, guys. We're ready. I want to.
Choo, choo.
I'm trying to find the best way to be able to go live when we're doing things. Last year, I went live on PWNCAST Facebook, but not as often as I did the very first year. Last year, I was live on my personal Facebook, and a lot of you guys are not on my personal Facebook, and you probably won't be, no offense, because it's kind of creepy when I don't know you. But I'm thinking of the best way to be able to handle that, so...
Yeah, you'll have to figure something out because there's still that video on the very first video is still from the one from 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so.
I'll work on that to see what the best way to be able to go live. If it's PWNCAST Twitter, maybe, where we go live on, so you guys can see the different festivities out. DitchCon
Periscope
would
would be a good use of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we
What
might be
would
able
be?
to do the PWNCAST Twitter. So make sure you follow PWNCAST on Twitter if you don't already. Most of you, I think, do. We don't have a lot of Twitter followers, but I don't really try to get Twitter followers either. Guys, I'm really bad with plugging ourselves and promoting. I'm really bad at that, which is...
It's just like plugging in your computer.
I know, you're stupid. It's just my own. I don't know how to be like, hey, watch our show, or hey, listen. Like, that's just never been my strong suit. But I can do it for other people, which is why it's weird that I could do it for other. I think I feel uncomfortable and like I'm trying to sell myself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I mean, you've already tried to sell us. So, I mean,
And sell out.
oh,
No,
I'm
wait.
kind of
No,
selling
it's-
out a little bit.
No, you're not. That's the overthinking thing. That's early PWNCAST.
Somebody said to me last week, not last
They're
week,
stupid.
the week before, they called me a method lackey.
Oh, shit.
a meth head lackey.
No,
Okay.
they called me a method lackey, and I just said, I'm not a lackey. I'm putting in work because that's what you do. When you're new to an organization, you put in your work and you pay your dues. That's how you get where you need to
Where did
be.
they write that?
It was in a Facebook message, and I said,
Oh,
I'm
to you,
not,
directly?
Yeah, directly to me. I said, I'm not a lackey. I'm a fucking enthusiast. Like, there's nothing wrong with being an enthusiast, and that's what I am, and I'm okay with that. But I felt like the person was a little bit salty.
Very salty. And after the show, I'd like you to tell me that name because I'm going to directly message them back. Let them know what's
but
up.
it's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings, guys. It really doesn't. Sometimes you have to be the low man on the totem pole and put in work and put in your grunt work because that is how you prove yourself worthy, and that's okay. So with that being said, you know what? I'm a method lackey. I'm a fucking PWNCAST lackey. I've been a PWNCAST lackey since day one.
I think you're past the lackey.
It sucks.
I'm
It
the water
sucks.
girl. I'm the PWNCAST water girl, okay?
It's better than being Belle's bitch.
But water sucks.
Is that an actual job? Can I pay
I feel-
somebody to
I feel like I'm doing it for free. Just joking. Just joking.
What a dick!
That's
Guys,
that's a diss on me. Sorry. Outro. Go ahead.
I feel like that was a diss on me.
No.
This on all of us.
Gotta
Fuck.
do what you say. Be here on time. Read the show notes. I'm exhausted.
Where's the
I'm joking.
show notes, Jimmy Banks?
Flashback to when Rem tried to call me out for reading the show notes.
Right? And that whole PvP brawl thing was like out of line. Rem.
What?
Another episode. We'll save it.
We'll save that for the ending credits as they roll, right, guys? Guys, we had a great show. We gave you lots of good information. We had great back and forth. We had wonderful banter. I am really, really happy with this episode, and I hope you guys are too. We are going to go ahead and get the hell on out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us your 2 hours every week. We appreciate you letting us into your home,
2 hours
into
and
your
20
into your
minutes.
eardrums, and into your intimate situations. Maybe in the bathroom. I don't know what you guys do. I sometimes listen in the bathroom.
This
so
is getting weird.
is it getting weird or is it getting normal?
Push
Normal?
pause and don't listen to us in the washroom, please.
That's when you should listen to. Everyone should listen to Belle while they're pooping. It just makes it a better pooping
Yeah, we just
experience.
want to be in your ear holes, guys.
Whoa, now we made it really weird. Guys, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Now we made it weird.
Well, the ear holes was super weird. I don't...
Just for the record, pooping is a lot more weird than ear holes.
No, pooping is a natural part of life. Ear holes are not.
Not to be discussed with people, okay? That's not okay in Canada.
You're not allowed to talk about pooping in Canada. It's illegal.
No, illegal, it's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. So if I walked up to you in Canada and was like, I just went to poop, you would be like, that's rude.
I'd be like,
water closet. Hello?
hello? I'd be
Well,
like,
Americans really are very out loud about their bodily functions, though. We're not at all, like, scared to talk about pooping or